Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Glad you could join us. We'll do our audio test as we always do. See what's going on here. Hope everybody's doing well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Seems to be working. That's a good thing. Alrighty then. Let's get into this. Alright, let me get situated here. Situated. Alright. What's going on, everyone? Let's see. Dr. Z. Smith is in there. Renee Cruz is in there. Custom Tailored One. Good to see you in there, Custom Tailored. Ricardo Petrozzi's in there. What's happening? Good to see you in there. James Cragen's in there. Claire Mead. Let's see. Mimi Reacts is in there. Photography, Light, and Magic's in there as well. Good to see you in there. Pete Ferrero's in there. Daniel Truxton's in there. He says, hello, my people. Pat Morris. What's going on, Pat? Oh, yeah. Josh D's in the house. What's going on, Josh? Josh D. Mike Knapp's in there. What's going on, Mike? MG Toe. Let's see. There we go. Just checking this thing here. Jerry Lahane's in there. What's going on, Jerry? Let's see. What's going on there, Martin Penwright? Good to see you there. Yep, Alfie Joe Bob's in there. Says, hi, Chris, and the usual suspects. Yes, they are. It's good to see them all in there. It's awesome. Smoking Guns in there. Equalizer's in there. Good to see you guys. Phil C. What's going on, Phil? MG Toe, hi. Give him the finger high. That doesn't sound too good. Let me see. Clerks 93. What's going on, Clerks? Good to see you in there. Lionhawk Glassworks is in the house. Jack Ball TV, what's happening? Good to see you in there. It's been a while since I've seen you in there, I think. Eileen Millard's in there. Good evening to you. Afternoon, whatever it may be. I forget exactly where you are. On this ball here we live on. I appreciate that, Juxta Billy. You said just to start the ball rolling, I'll gift and say hi, Chris, and have a great gathering time. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's always appreciated. Let's see. What else we got in there? Michael Stark. What's going on, Michael? He said, what's up, Chris? How you doing? Happy Friday, everyone, he says. I'm doing well, Michael. I hope you're doing well. Arts and Crafts is in there. Like I said, James in there. John Sharp. What's going on, John? Oh, I'm glad to see you doing well, Josh. He said, hello, Chris. How are you? I am fine now. Well, that's good. Good to hear. Disclosure TV's in there. Catmandu. What's going on, Catmandu? Let's see. Bing Bong. What's going on? You said hello from Malaysia. Hope everybody's doing well over there in Malaysia. Let me see. One the human landing system contractor. Return humans to the moon with Starship. Huh. Person on Twitter goes by Everyday Astronaut. Says, I did not see this coming. SpaceX won the human landing system contract to return humans to the moon with Starship. Huh. Imagine that. All right. Yeah, me, we're all ears. All right, let me see. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Oh, we hate to do that. We hate to leave anybody out. We are, after all, at this large table together, just kind of chilling and illin', you know. I just missed somebody here. I just seen it, and then it jumped on me. I hate when that happens. Glenn Marsh is in there. What's going on, Glenn? Paul McCoon's in there. Says, hi, Chris, and everyone on the planet and Mars. What's going on there, Paul? Good to see you in there. Rodney Evans says, hello from the outer planetary ring. That's awesome. Good to see everybody in there. Oh, Lord. Roll call, yep. Good to see everybody in there. How is everybody doing? Hope everybody is doing well. It's been a real busy week for me. I just barely squeaked that last video in about what? About just before 3-ish p.m. Eastern time. And a lot of you folks had a chance to look at it, which is awesome. And if you haven't, you can always wait till after the show, whenever. Supreme Ruler's in the house. What's going on, Supreme? Good to see you in there. Been a while since I think I've seen you, unless you snuck in there last time. But what's going on, Tim? He said, hi, Chris. Thanks for your program. Well, thank you for being here, Tim. Appreciate you. Just jumped on me again. I love it when it does it. Yes, Dr. Z. Smith, he said, top crew in the chat. Oh, yeah, these are top people here. Best you can find. Let's see. Like I said, this thing just... Every now and then when you want to just jump down to the bottom, it's like you try to scroll down and it just goes incredibly fast. And you're like, So then when you try to scroll back up, you're going, good Lord, how many people did I miss here? So, yeah. Glenn Marsh has waited all day for the chat. Yeah, it's like me. I go, it's Friday. Let's get the job done here at my regular job. Hopefully, can get out of here a decent time. Usually, I'll come and I'll take a chill. I'll just sit on the recliner, take a chill for about an hour and a half. Didn't get to do that, but that's okay. So it worked out either way, right? So really didn't get a whole lot together, but we did get some things together. And Alfie, and you know who I'm talking about. Alfie Joe Bob noticed something about one of the photos, and I was waiting for somebody to catch this, and he's the only one that did. And now other you might have seen it as well, but he's the only one that mentioned it. So really interesting. David Clark, what's going on? He said, I've got squirrels and cardinals eating nuts on the patio. Even had a snowstorm today. It's a good day. Man, where you at? Snowstorm. I mean, it's been cool for us all week, which, it's like Mother Nature goes, listen, I know you're loving these 75 and 85 degree temperatures, but yeah, we're going to have to put the kibosh to that, man. So it's been like upper 50s, lower 60s here, and it's, been 39 this morning. It's going to be about 38 tomorrow morning. I'm like, what? What are you doing? But you expect that to transition between, spring, summer and all this other crap. So you go from, winter to spring. So you kind of expect that, but you still don't want to be spoiled in all some crapo weather. So it is what it is, right? As long as we don't have to live outside, I guess we're okay. Custom Tailored One, you said your last video was great, Chris. Well, I appreciate that. Like I said, I mean, a lot of these, Donald Geisler, I'm sorry. Mars Chopper shots out yet? Supposed to be this week coming up. And we'll get into that because I think that's, wow. Can you say BS? So, yeah. So, yeah, we'll get into that. And plus, like I said, what Alfie's kind of found in the photo, which is funny, which is like spot on. Like I said, I was waiting for somebody to see that. But let me see. There was some other one I just saw too, and I didn't want to miss it. But Tampa Girl, or Tam T Girl. Yeah, I made it early. Today's greetings from California. What's going on in Cali? Good to see you in there. Good to see you in there. Okay, there's that one. All right. So, like I said, for some reason, it's like, it just, yeah. I was just reading you guys, Mimi's and Arts and Crafts. What do you got, like the Christine over there? Said something about a scared from the car or something like that? I didn't read the whole thing, so forgive me. I didn't go all the way back, but I did actually read some of that. Michael Starkey said, Chris, did you see the latest Pentagon admitted triangle UFO video released yesterday? It's from 2019 off the coast of Southern Cal, right? More drip force of BS. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see too if what kind of dump they do on us. Like, I don't mean number 2 dump, but I mean, we'll hope to see like some stuff we don't know about instead of like the Tic Tac and the other crap they've already showed us. I want to see if they actually do a whole dump of information on the public, because that would be interesting. I think you guys would agree. So, in the meantime, we got photos. So yeah. Chris Blake, what's going on? Didn't even see you in there. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it just like jumps down and I don't even see some people. Yeah, Disclosure TV said, Chris, do you still sell the Mars mugs? This is what's weird. If I go on the site where I was selling a lot of these, this is on Teespring, and that's the only thing that's on there. I'm like, what is going on here? So I got to figure out what's going on. Maybe because it was kind of inactive for a while. I don't know what the deal is, but it would be kind of weird that the cup is still on sale, which makes no darn sense at all. But a lot of times you should be able to see it underneath the videos here. Usually I see it on my phone anyway. I don't know about a PC, but I can go on like the phone itself and I can look and it has like the merchandise right underneath it. So, but it just shows the cup. I'm like, what is going on here? So I thought that was really weird, right? But I don't know if you're seeing the same thing under yours, but I could definitely gotta check it out and see what's going on, because I thought that was a little strange. Yep, Jerry Lehane, you said Elon got contract for the moon. Like I said, I was just reading that from somebody on Twitter had just said that. That would be good for Ricardo. Yeah, he said, I hear that YouTube may remove the dislike button as it's causing constant creators upset. Nothing to do with the White House, getting records dumped. No, and I don't believe that either. But remember we had our last live feed, right? Now, funny enough, remember I was telling you like 3 times my thumbs up rather, went down. I was like, what is going on? I contacted them right after the live feed. I was like really kind of pissed off. And I'm going, what is going on here? They said, well, and I got into it with them. And I don't mean in a crappy way either. I just said, I just want to let you know, it was like 3 times I watched my thumbs up go down from like 160, 170 all the way down to like 80. And they said, well, really? She said, well, here's the thing. She said, you're not the first one to have that done to you. I'm like, really? So what's going on here? So here I am, thinking, so what's going on? Why are they doing that, or who's doing that? And it's not just one person that's getting done to. In fact, no sooner I got off here, I was watching another live feed. Somebody does similar to work to mine. And there was actually another one that does, and funny enough, it was like hot rods. And I literally watched theirs drop. I'm going, what is going on here? So it wasn't just my channel. It was others as well. And the first thing you think of is, I'm being hacked, right? But the thing is, it's like, she said, we'll definitely check into it. The team will check into it, blah, 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 blah. And I said, a couple of things I've noticed, too, is that I can see my actual views drop. And this doesn't happen frequently, but it does every now and then. I'm going, so she said, we'll definitely look into it. Because, if you're in a partnership with them, they're more apt to look into it a little bit more deeper and stuff like that. So, I said, it'd be great. If you can straighten this out, it'd be awesome. So, you know how that goes. Okay, Elaine. I had forgotten. You got to remember there's so many of you guys. I didn't remember. He said it's 10 p.m. where I am, as in England. Okay, cool. Like I said, I didn't know there's so many of us here, and some are right here in the States, of course, and there's some of you abroad there, and so just want to make sure. I didn't go, I know you're in Arkansas, and clearly you're not. So, let's see. And that would be good, Ricardo, if they did get rid of the dislike button. I mean, to me, I don't really care one way or the other, right? Because they see it like it doesn't upset me. I don't know why it would other people, because think about it. If you look at your amount of thumbs up compared to thumbs down, it's silly. So, I mean, I don't really care. Let me see. Let me jump all the way back down to the bottom here, guys. So I apologize if I didn't get right back to you guys. Ricardo, yeah, she was on. You said haven't seen Mags on for a while. Yeah, she's been there. Let's see. Rich S. What's going on, Rich? You said, who really made the structures on the moon? That's a great question. That's a fantastic question. I wish I knew the answer. Here's the thing. You know, I've showed videos on there that I've got of structures on the moon, and the only thing I can think of is that thousands of years ago, and I've said this before, if somehow we were technologically advanced thousands of years ago, and we just don't, and because of cataclysms, we just don't remember all of this, and every time we restart our, humankind builds itself again, gets back up to capacity, and then, of course, we start getting technologically advanced again. The only thing I can think of is this happened thousands of years ago, and perhaps it was us. Now, again, this is pure speculation. But if it's not us, then who knows? I mean, clearly it's not us, it's somebody else, otherworldly. So to me, it's awesome, because if it is somebody otherworldly, then they probably bounced to every planet or moon on this solar system and our solar system itself and been there probably thousands of millions of years ago. Who knows? But I'd love to know too, to be truthful with you. What's going on there, Kyle? Good to see you in there. Says, much love to the team. I appreciate it, Kyle. I know you were asking me. I had just, you said it was going to be a live stream. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there was actually several of you guys asked about it. So, absolutely. I mean, unless I tell you in a video that I can't make it, because my son's got a lot of school things now going on after school, and he's competing and stuff like that. So, so sometimes it might be on a Friday. As you notice, it hasn't really happened. So, but I'll give you guys a heads up. You know that. I don't like to just go, just not show up, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, where's he at? So I don't like to do that. Turklerin Vadishi, what's going on? He said, hi, everyone. Again, Kyle, thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you. Good to see you in there. Goat Squeezer, that's a good one. On the CIA website, there's a document from a remote viewing done on Mars. Remote viewers have seen the war between Maldek, now the asteroid belt, and Mars. I heard about that again myself, many times actually, because I've seen that, and I've read about that. And, it's like I said, the reason why, I shouldn't say the reason why, but Mars, and of course it says the god of war. It makes you wonder, even with crude telescopes back in the day, if they could just look at it and see like flashes of light, like somebody had done in 1941 here, and just happened to be observing Mars and seeing them two large explosions on Mars itself, right? So what's really weird is that they had seen that. Maybe that's why they called it that. So I'm just kind of curious if that's what was seen. And they just seen them. Like, you can imagine that? You look through your telescope, looking at just one of the planets in the solar, you see a bunch of lights and things flying around it, and big lights, meaning explosions. You'd be like, okay, seriously, what is going on here? You'd be like, all right, are we next? So, because that would scare the crap out of me, not knowing what's going on. And if that's going on in that planet, not far from you, it may not be a good thing. William Johnson, what's going on? He said, I just got home and didn't have time to watch the new vid yet. That's all right. It'll be there for you when after you're either done with this or after. Oh yeah, absolutely. Lionheart Glassworks. I said the same thing. He said all thumbs down is just as good as all thumbs up. LOL. They see it as an interaction. I mean, good or bad on your thumbs up, unless of course you got 195 thumbs down and 3 thumbs up. That's probably not a good ratio to have, but and they're more likely not to want to advertise on your channel. But to me, I don't care, Bushcraft Survival, Jack Only. He said, hey Chris, I found a Google Earth on Iceland, a 4 skyscraper in the big ice where no modern city is, a possible bunker and many ruins. Do you want the coordinates? And of course you put them down. Oh, interesting. You know what? I can do this. I can take a screenshot of that. Hold on. Yeah, if I get a chance, I'm definitely going to check that out. Every now and then I like to get into it and really check these things out. But, I mean, you know as well as I do, while you're on the Google type thing, whether it's Earth, Moon, or Mars, it takes a bit because it's not like it makes you take the time. You want to take the time because you're like, I just want to just go over this real slowly, see if there's, check every nook and cranny. And you know as well as I do, it's like it just takes a long time. Before you know it, you're looking at your time, you're like, oh my God, So, yeah. But, yeah, cool. Get a chance, I'll definitely check that out. Harvey, I don't know what happened to my skateboard picture, but now you can see my face, which is fine. Yeah, I don't see a problem with it. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just better to see the people anyway, which is, well, skateboards are cool too, but you get what I'm saying. It's like puts more personal to the face. Let me see. Oh, we had 138 misfits. No, we're pretty good. We're 140. Come on, guys, nail that thumbs up. Hit it for me. It is appreciated. Even, how do you say that? Do you separate that tamped girl or do you say tamped girl? I just want to, use it correctly. But anyway, she was saying 136 watching, 64 likes. Hit that button. Come on, guys. Slam it good. Yeah, you're right, Kyle. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You said, I think they could send better pictures from the rovers. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. These are supposed to be like really stunning pictures, right? They're supposed to be like really good detail, the whole 9 yards, and we're not seeing that at all. At all. And for all we know, they probably have 4K on there. At least that, right? Again, you've got the super cam, and you got all these cameras on there. You know as well as I do that these things are supposed to be the bomb, right? The Mass Z, you got the, come on. There should be unprecedented detail photos. We all know that. And what are they giving us? Garbage. That's the way I look at it. Well, they're giving us garbage. Just seeing the real deal, of course. They're seeing the absolutely brilliant photos, like probably clear as heck detail. You name it, right? Oh, where did this thing just go? Don John, what's going on? You said, sorry. Hi, all. Oh, hi, y'all. What's going on? What's going on, Sean? We're going to get into that, Mimi. You said, Chris, what's your opinion about the Ingenuity's latest technical issues? Yeah, we'll get into that real soon. Michael Stark, he said, Chris, do you recall the huge smoke coming from Mars? You did a video on it showing structures from the smoke source. Whatever happened to that event? Nothing. I'm almost positive there was another event, though, that just happened recently. And they say it just happens once in a while. But it seems to be within a certain time frame of the year, which is really odd. Now, they claim that, well, depending on the atmospherics and the lower temperatures at the ground or higher or blah, 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 either way you look at it, right? Because you can be higher in the, if you want to call it lack of atmosphere, or vice versa, warmer at the ground, cooler at the top. And you get these clouds forming around these volcanoes. It's like, okay, they claimed there's an eruption. Now, some people say, well, it can be clouds. Well, if that's true, it should be just happening to the one, right? It should be happening to all three, and we don't see that. It's just the one. And the last time I did that, I brought that thing way down, that brightness of that cloud, which went on for miles, and it turned out to be a square, like a rectangular piece just sitting right on the ground off the side of the volcano, I might add. It would be at the base, but when you say at the base, this thing could be many miles away from the base. So, yeah. What's going on there, Mr. Thumbs Down? Appreciate you. They're there. I'm glad to see them here. I get a little nervous when they're not there, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I think I've heard about it again. It did happen again, and then, again, you don't hear another thing about it. So wait, is Mars alive or is it not? Right? Because they're having many Marsquakes, which they're still trying to scratch their head over because they're saying, well, there's no tectonic plates. It's just one big ball of rock. I mean, it's not like we have. We have like actually floating continents, right? So, of course, they mesh and everything else. Of course, there's other reasons why we have this. We know that as far as earthquakes. So, what gives? Is it alive or is it not? I think, now I'm not saying all of it, but the noise that they're hearing is something going on underground. If you guys notice, they have the new Perseverance. It's got its own core sampler now. So it literally drills like a core. So, it looks like a giant rod coming out of the ground, and they can actually, test it and everything out. They're going, interesting. So they're trying to see just how far down, and then they're going to probably test it to see if there's organics there. Of course, it's just crap, gravel, so to speak. It's supposed to be dead, right? No grass, no nothing. And, of course, they're going to drill into the ground, see how far they can go down before maybe they find organics or, maybe some microbials, right? We'll see. Really, really interesting. You're right, Kyle. It did. You said, the skateboard looked like a UFO, a green UFO. You're right, now that you mention it. Les Sweet's in there? I didn't see Les Sweet. That's what I'm saying. They're all getting in there. Mervyn Gravel's in there. What's going on? He said, hi, Chris. Hope you're well. Sorry, I hit the thumbs down by mistake. Button fault on my remote. That happens. Although I'm still seeing it here. So I don't know if it's just you or somebody else too. Daniel Truxton, you said your question was, will you do more Antarctica data soon, Chris? Yes. Julia's still working on that. She still wants to get the site up there. I think it's going to be before. She was trying to get it up in the middle of the month here of April. So she may be doing, before the end of the month. We'll just have to see how that plans out because she really wanted to do a really good job of this. And she showed me a couple of photos already. One of them is mind-blowing. Oh, wow. It's really cool. So, and the weird thing about it is you could see the photos been really manipulated. And then there's one thing, it's like, boom, right in your face. And you're going, all right, so let me get this right. So, kind of like what they do with the Mars, right? You'll manipulate this, that, and the other, but let's leave that other piece in. I don't get it. It's like the game they play. It's like, we'll let you see a little bit, but we're not going to give you a whole lot. We're just going to kind of cheese you out of the rest of it, I don't get that. Do you guys, does anybody understand the mentality of that and why they're doing that? Sean, you said the thumbs down would be from NASA. Wouldn't surprise me, right? Yeah, it can travel there, Donald. You said, like in Florida, you get sugar cane fires from Cuba, or Cuba, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And the late nights, early morning smoke and fog in the air? Oh, yeah, it'll travel. Yeah, depending on if it's coming right up from the south, you guys are going to get nailed with that. And, of course, depending on what part of Florida. But if it comes off like this here and it comes into a giant plume, it'll pretty much cover the good peninsula of Florida. You know that. It can travel, no doubt about it. John Schaub, yeah, I've noticed that too. He said, Chris, UFO sightings always appear before a big bad event. I've seen that too. We can see things anywhere like massive lightning storms. Some people say, well, they're taking the plasma or the electricity, basically the energy out of these storms. Not sure how true that is. That's what they say. And not all of them say that. They're just kind of like in the clouds. And yeah, you see like, around missile silos. You'll see around volcanic stuff. Even launches, like I think SpaceX. Remember that they showed that? I don't know if you guys seen that, where it looked like something came around it. It was like it come in from the right, went around it, and it looked like it was shooting like a laser or a light, something like that around it. And then, of course, this thing blew up on the launch pad. Now, I always give those things about a 50-50 thing because I don't know if that's true, but it seemed like it was actually from a reliable source, which is really weird. And if it is, that's spooky as well. So then the questions come, okay, was it, if we are getting that much advanced, is it possible, other countries are advanced too, and they got their own UFOs, so to speak, And is it possible that they come to our country and say, well, we don't want them to be ahead of us, so we'll go ahead and just, we'll push them back a little bit. But if you notice, it's like every time something happens with, Elon, with the SpaceX and everything else, you notice how he doesn't, go dormant for, X amount of time. He's like, oh, well, it was a mishap. Okay, next. And move along. So what you got to admire is, is pushing forward, which you should. Yeah, Ricardo, you're absolutely right on that too. You said Marsquakes could be caused by geomagnetic jerks, similar to the Earth, caused by the sun's influence on the planet's rotation. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, although it's further away from the sun, but I don't know. It's hot. Like I said, when you listen to the recordings that the InSight lander had taken, you've heard these because I've even played them on here, where one of them sounds like it's either dripping water and you can hear it going faster and faster, and then it kind of stops. Then you can hear clang, 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 and you hear all kinds of noise. I'm like, what is going on here? And then one of them, it sounds like to something underground, like picture a subway, and you got your ear to the ground, you hear, and it gets louder and louder and louder, then it just goes away. Kind of like a car going by you, right? It's kind of the same sound. Now, is it that? There's no way of knowing that, of course, but still pretty interesting to say the least, because I see these things and I go, what is going on here? And when I was listening to those videos, I said, how can they even put that on there saying, oh, it could be something, natural. It's something. Really? Oh, they'll say it's wind. That's what I love. These guys, like I said, they're the smartest people on the planet. They know it can be windy up there. They're not going to put anything on there that's going to be loose. In other words, let's say a chain just kind of banging up against it, stuff like that. That's not going to happen. Now, and because of that seismograph, it's got that round dome. You've seen that. It's round, so chances of the wind going over, it's not going to make a whole lot of noise because it's, I don't know if I'd call it aerodynamic because it looks like a giant, like a dish with the cover on it. But still, nonetheless, it's still pretty much aerodynamic, right? It's not like a brick, like it has 90-degree corners, but regardless of the fact, they try to play it off like it's not even a big deal. Like, it might have been the wind or some kind of, I don't know. It's whatever. People are not stupid here, I think we're all dumbbells. But dropping the mic, Kyle. Appreciate you, man. I like the little dude. This time he's not working out with the dumbbells. This time he's got a mic. Boom! Dropping it. That's pretty cool. Oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, like you said, Ricardo, it could be either or, right? You said, I agree, Chris. The sounds are not well explained, but seismic readings are another thing. True. They can come from many sources. But do you remember when they did that, Ricardo, where they had, what were they doing at the time? Oh, this is great. They had a side-by-side photo. They had the seismograph on the right-hand side. I guess you guys will see it opposite. I don't know. And then they had the boom or the arm from the InSight lander moving. Oh, this is sounds of the actual arm. I'm going, wait a minute, I'm confused. So let me get this right. You're going to run your seismograph the same time while you're moving the arm. Who does that? Especially if it's an important test that you're going to run. It's like, hey, guys, why don't we do this, right? As soon as we try to listen carefully into the crust of Mars, why don't you guys just go ahead and activate the arm, move it up and down for me, will you? Come on. Who does that? Again, these guys got this stuff all in a sequence. They know exactly what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. And yet they did it at that time. I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a minute. Not for a minute. Alfie Joe Bob, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. And is that supposed to be a speeding? What is that? Whatever he is, he's hauling. But I appreciate your support, man. I really do. I see you guys going back, James. Christ, I thought you said meth. Oh, man. I guess I missed that conversation. Oh, I see it now. I love math because it's extraterrestrial. That was good. I thought you said meth. That's not good. Donnelly said, most likely a scan to analyze the electronics and checking out our materials we are now using in our rocket launches and modules we launch. Could very well be. Could be. Let me see here. All right, so We'll get into that guy. All right, so this is great. I flag BS, okay? Anybody who's ever watched, let me get this out of here, because I want to see this full frame here. So anybody who's ever watched a helicopter take off knows that, well, I'll do this real quick. I'll put this back on so you guys can see my hands here. You'll see when it, like, let's say a standard helicopter, right? It blows air down, and if you're in a dirt field, it kicks it down, and then chances are some of it comes up and through the rotors again, or the rotor, because this is a double rotor, but it comes down, blows outward, but because it's sucking air from the top of the rotors, it blows back down. Is that what happened here? Which means this thing probably took flight. It was probably flying all this time. And I've said this before. I think this is a bunch of crap. When we seen the actual touchdown of the Perseverance, I don't believe that's when it happened. This might have happened several months ago. We would not have known it. You know, they say, now the launch might have been real, meaning the real time, but unless you can track this thing, they say, well, it takes, 7 months to get there. How do you know it didn't take 5? How would we know that? They might have propulsion on it that they use that's traditional, and then they can shut it off and put on some other propulsion. We don't know. And of course, again, speculation, because I can't vet that. But it's just odd how, suddenly this thing looks like it's been used. In fact, I don't know if you guys have seen this. When I see this, and I'll put the magnifier on this, when you see this, the top of this, it looks like this left-hand side of this, it looks like it fell down into moist dirt. See the water or the little bit of dampness around said dirt? You guys see that? Or is it possible? Because I'm trying to make heads or tails out of it. I can see, like, on the very left, it might be just dust, meaning, from just being on the ground. But then I see the darker stuff, but I see the dark right here on the very edge of the darker soil, but yet the right ones look fine. Is it possible this thing flipped over already? Okay. And I have a feeling you can almost bet they've had this already checked out, meaning they probably said, guys, what's our plan if this thing should tip over? What's the plan? You can almost bet that the rover somehow can pick this thing up and rewrite it. Okay? So anyway, when I'm seeing that, what is your first impression, guys, when you see this, the top of the solar panel? Again, look at the right side, not so bad. Left side, wonder why that is. And keep in mind, these are counter, rotors. So one spins to the right, one spins to the left, right, to keep the stability. So wouldn't you expect to see both sides of this? You can see it folded down. You can see it like there's I think these are hinged. At least it looks that way. And if it's not, it's no big deal either. But the point is, it's like, this looks pretty dark, meaning not a whole lot of dust on it. This here, it looks like it fell over and went into the dust. Here's another thing. Look at the blade here. Dust. You guys have a ceiling fan in your house? Yeah. In fact, I got one I'm looking at right now. It's got about 1.5 inches of dust on it. And you don't realize it until you just happen to look up one day and you go, okay. So look at the actual rotor right here. This thing's taken flight already. That's 1,000%. It's already tested it out and it ran it well, and then it stopped. But to get that much on this solar panel makes no darn sense. None. Zippo. So, again, right side looks pretty decent. Left side looks like it went and it just laid over in some mud or something. And if it did not, it's kind of weird how it's only on that side of the solar panels. And again, look at the rotor. You can see dust on it. This thing was flying, or at least was turning, like they said. Because they said what happened is it went into two different modes, and somehow it just went faulty and it didn't work right. So I don't know if it just started to spin them and it kicked off and went into a different mode. And then, of course, it went into what they call a watchdog mode, where this thing automatically will time it out and just stop it so it protects the actual helicopter or the equipment, right? So what I find interesting is not only on the solar panel, but on the blades itself, right? So what do you guys take on that? I mean, to me, that's just, yeah. I think 100% this thing's been in the air. Mags K, there she is. Good to see you in there. Said hi, Chris, and everyone. Good to see you in there, Mags. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Ricardo, you said the same thing. You said that I was right. You said we smell a rat. Oh, it's absolutely bogus. Like I said, when you look at this thing, you see the blades, even on this one here in the bottom blade, just look at the bottom rotor, you can still see a light, tinge to it, like this dust has been over that blade as well, right? And, of course, these things are at an angle. They're pitched in a certain way for balance and everything else. And this thing it's pretty high-tech, guys. It really is. Now, my take is on this. Here's a question for everybody. Will this thing be able to charge its own batteries after this crap is all over it? So, if it cannot, and they say, yeah, we have issues, guys. We can't get enough battery power. I don't think they'd care if this thing's already been off the ground. In other words, it's already did what they had to do. Let's suppose, and it's kind of looking that way, that, again, like Curiosity, Perseverance is in the middle of some kind of ruined area. Ruins from an old civilization. All they had to do, guys, is have this thing go up one time, a certain height, take a panorama, just in other words, going around in a circle, going around, hovering, just slowly going around, taking all kinds of pictures, and they have the whole area they want to see with just X amount of photos, and it just has to come back down. It could die and roll over and croak for all I care, as long as they got what they needed out of it. So the question is, are we going to see this thing go back to life? They did say probably this week coming up. I think it was a Wednesday. They said they're probably going to try it out again. We'll see what happens. If it flies, awesome. If it doesn't, it makes you wonder, right? Deeper Look, you said, hello, Chris. Would you say that if Mars ever had life, it should be found where the river flowed into the lake of Jezero Crater? What happens to bones left on the surface exposed to radiation? Yeah, that's a great question. If they're exposed, I'm not exactly sure, to be honest with you. But, to me, I would think the weather itself would get it first, right? In other words, let's say it's been there. Some people believe it's millions of years. I don't believe it's millions of years at all, because we wouldn't see any of this, right? You would think maybe the bones would stand there because if it was freeze-dried kind of thing where whatever catastrophic event ripped the atmosphere from there, so it got extremely cold, but it does get warm during the day. So, but if it did, you would think the sand beating it, the weathering, and you can almost bet, and I almost bet on it, they'll probably find they'll say, oh, by the way, there's some kind of a water cycle here in Jezero Crater as well. Now, they haven't mentioned that yet, but I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen there. Because it wasn't for a long time, they didn't state that on Curiosity, and yet they did come out with it. And I pretty much already knew that they had one. And then when a technician actually said it, like I said, he's the one that worked on the actual hammer drill that's on the Curiosity. And he actually said it right out. Yes, there's a water cycle on Mars, and that the drill, when it's drilling and taking up a sample, sometimes it gets caught in a plastic tube that's around the drill bit, and it can actually jam it up. So when the guy asked him, really? So there's water on Mars? Oh, yeah, we found that there's a water cycle in Gale Crater. So Curiosity has, seen that. So without a doubt, there's life on the planet in some way, shape, or form. I feel that anyway. And I believe this thing has taken off and it has come back down. And I believe, and like I said, I can't prove any of this, of course, but I believe, like I said, this mission started more than probably a month ago or 2 months ago, and it's been doing everything it needed to do, and now they're going to say, well, we tried to fly it, but for some reason, no matter what we do, we can't get this thing off the ground, or they will, and it'll take a dump later. I don't know. Like I said, I'm hoping I'm completely wrong, and that this thing will fly. That'd be awesome. And then, like everybody else is saying, good, I can't wait to see the photos. Will we? Well, we'll wait and see, I guess. Well, actually, it's shown in a sense it will. If it's in series, then you're going to get your full voltage, right? So, in other words, let's say this is, I'm going to just throw, I forget what the solar panels put out. Let's say it's 12 volts. If they're in parallel, right, it should be, if I'm not mistaken, it should be 12 volts, period. Now, if it was all of these were in series and they made up the 12 volts, you take about 3 or 4 of these out, or a good side of them, you're pretty much done, like half to 3/4 of voltage coming out of those solar panels. So, and either way, it really doesn't matter whether it's in series or parallel, right? If you're taking out half the solar panels, it's like going up to your solar panels and putting your hand over half of it. What's the chances of you getting any kind of voltage out of there that's going to fully charge the battery, right? My other thought was this, guys. What if, because we can miniaturize just about anything, right? What if they have a small nuclear source inside this thing? In other words, they don't need those solar panels. Now, I'm not saying that they do, but I'm just saying, what if, though? Because it just seemed a little odd. They claim there's not enough sunlight over there, but yet, wait a minute, we get this rinky-dinky little solar panel on this helicopter, and that's supposed to collect enough for this thing to take off, turn about 2,800 RPMs on the rotors, and fly for like 7 minutes. Even if it was 3 minutes, who gives a crap? Just long enough to get up in the air, do its thing, and then drop back down. Come on. You know what I mean? It doesn't need very long to do it. If I was designing the thing to look at the overhead, meaning the area that I have the rover in, I only need it to go up far enough to where I can get everything I want in one scene. And if I have to, I could just take snapshots, just slowly turning, taking snapshots. Don't have to go anywhere else. Just sit there and take the photo. Click, 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 click. And then we can make a pan out of it. And we can see everything we need to see in crystal clear photos, in a giant photo. Well, it'd be like a round one, right? But either way, you'd be able to see it crystal clear. Land, they don't care if it catches on fire. Think about it. It makes perfect sense to me. Goat Squeezer, you said bones have been seen in pictures from Spirit and Opportunity. Yes, they have. Or at least bone-like anomalies, right? So I'm not surprised in the least bit. I guarantee, like I said, they're here for a recon mission. They're here to see what's on this planet or what killed it off. If they have any technology, let's go ahead and get what we can, all the information we need out of it. It may help mankind in the future. Or they'll be like man does all the time. We'll turn it into a weapon. But either way, right? Like I said, they're there for a recon mission. They're not there to play games. They know exactly why they're up there. They're sending these things up here. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe their explanation or their mission saying, listen, we just want to see if we can get something to fly on Mars. Now, I get that. Now, here's the funny part. It makes you wonder if, the atmosphere is not thicker. And I've said this before. I don't believe it's thin like they say. I believe the air is thicker. I believe it's denser. I believe, well, here's the thing. Even if you said, Chris, I think you're wrong. Okay, what about the blue skies, the InSight, and this is perfect. They screwed up big time. As soon as that thing landed, okay, we got the okay. Land is saying it's okay. Okay, we're now waiting for the first photo. Boom, it comes on, blue sky. Now, 10 seconds later, they put the red filter over it. Everything's red. So when people say, well, it's always red. Oh, no, it's not. And it can have blue skies, but they instantly change the skies and the photo within 10 seconds, period. So if they're lying about that, I almost guarantee the barometric pressure is higher. The air density is better, meaning thicker, the whole nine. We have certain parts of Mars, we still have, water cycles. Come on. Let's put 2 and 2 together here, guys. Rich S. says, was Mars intentionally destroyed for some reason? Truthfully, I don't know. If there was a civilization there, it makes you wonder, did they kill themselves off? And I don't remember the gentleman's name, but they said after a civilization gets so big to a certain degree and overgrows its, capacity, it usually implodes. So, in other words, through war of some other, whatever way they've been killed off or died off, it could be lack of resources. You run out of your resources. It could be warring with each other. It could be anything. Right? So, yeah. So I believe, like I said, it could have been either an outside source that killed them off. It could have been themselves. I don't know. Either way, this planet was alive at one time. No doubt about it. And it may still have life on it as we speak. Exactly, Ricardo. It's exactly what I was thinking about. You said small nuclear power source is possibility. It can be made a 1/3 size of a beer can now. Yeah. So I'm wondering if they're gonna go. Yeah, guys, look at the solar panel, man. Look at we're screwed here. That's the end of the mission. It's gonna have to sit there dormant and it's junk now. And yet take right back off again, doing its thing. Think about it. I mean, if they can make it that small, and I believe they can. So I often wondered, they claim it's so much further, but look at the sunlight we're getting here. It looks pretty good to me. But they claim you can't get enough. But yet you can put this rinky-dink little, I don't care how efficient these, whether they're crystalline, whatever they may be, whatever they're using for solar panels on this, I don't care how efficient they are. If there's a super lack of sun on that planet, there's no way that size solar panel is going to charge anything. And even then, you know how long it would take to charge that? A battery in that thing? And the rotors are going to do what? They're just going to peter out within X amount of minutes. But if you had a small power source in there powering a battery, in other words, let's say they use it, they go up in the air and they come back down, well, now the battery's depleted. No problem. The nuclear power source will then charge it, and once it gets to its limit, it shuts itself off from charging, and then it's ready to go again. And it could probably do it within minutes as opposed to days or X amount of days because of a rinky-dink solar panel like that. Think about it. I don't know. Woody, you said, NASA are crazy waiting weeks to fly this. The longer it sits, the more dust settles on the panel. Well, my thing is, too, is like, there was somebody had mentioned something, too, and I was thinking about this. It's funny how they're like saying the software's, there's a glitch in it, so on and so forth. Wait a minute. You guys flew this on Earth. No problems whatsoever. It didn't have any problem going back and forth in modes, never had an issue, and was working perfect. They literally had to make a test cell for this thing so that they could get it to, well, they wanted to simulate Mars's atmosphere and the air density. So that's what they did. And you can see that if you've ever seen the actual test they did, the thing would barely come off the ground. Talking about an inch, maybe 2 inches tops. And, of course, it keep dropping to the floor. But then they got the thing to, go better. Then they changed, the speeds of the rotors, and they changed probably angles and pitch of these blades and so on and so forth. And then they got the thing had lift. It was flying, doing everything right. You're telling me, again, smartest people on the planet didn't test the hell out of this thing. You know they did. And yet it gets guys, major issues. Well, we don't know what happened. It had a glitch. Okay. No, I'm not saying it can't. It's a computer, right? We know how computers are and technology can be. 1 minute it's working great, next thing you know, boom. I remember this one guy, he was Colombian. He says to me, he said something about, and it was kind of harsh towards women, but the way he said it was, "Hey, Chris, a car is like a woman's. You never know when they're going to let you down." I said, dude, man, that's messed up. But it was funny the way he said it, right? Now, technology can be just like that. It can be just like working great one day and all of a sudden, boom, done. Just like your car, right? No difference. No difference at all. It just happens. There she is, Julia Guiley. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Thank you for your support as always. Much love to you. You said, hi, Chris and everyone. I'm sorry I can't be here too. It's 2:45 p.m. out here in Santa Monica, and I'm at work. Good luck with your show tonight. Ticker will be up and live in 9 days. Sweet. She did say that. It'll be near the end of the month, which is awesome. Love you guys, JG. Get it up there. Julie, we want to check it out. I've been already telling him about what you've seen, and I'm not going to say on the mountaintop type thing and all this other stuff, and I didn't get into it, but said there's some cool stuff in these photos. So, we'll be glad to see it, and we'll keep everybody abreast of what's going on here. Once it gets put up there, we'll definitely give them the link to it and let them jump right on there and check it out. So, again, thank you very much for your support. Much appreciated. Man, 2:45. I wish it was still 2:45 here. Man. Well, it is what it is. Good to see you in there, Julia, as always. How now says Mars was hit with a large intergalactic lightning bolt 12,000 years ago, they say. See, I don't know. They're talking about, what was that they talked about? Saying like a giant lightning bolt. And what was it? What would they call that? Not the lightning bolt project. It was something along those lines. But, because they were saying that's what basically, trying to think here. Trying to think if it was before or after. I got sequences in my head here. Anyway, they were saying that that's what caused the Valles Marineris scar, so to speak, on there, which is basically like our Grand Canyon, only we can fit the United States in it from west to east or east to west, depending on how you want to look at it. So Valles Marineris is pretty darn long, pretty large, but they say it was done by like lightning bolts. I'm not so sure I believe that. Just because they can simulate that in a lab doesn't mean that's the cause. You know what I mean? That's like me sitting there spinning water in my toilet bowl and say, oh, every time every time you see this, it's me flushing, it's me doing that and whirling it. Now, just because I can simulate it doesn't mean that's the cause. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's a good hypothesis, but I'm not sure that's the cause. But either way, whatever happened to Mars was not good, and because of the two explosions, both in like I said, as actually the Cydonia Mensa and what was it called? The chaotic area. They call it. I keep forgetting the name of it, and I just had this thing too. But anyway, it's a smaller explosion over there. So they had the two explosions, and like I said, guys, look at the map. The map is funny because it shows them right where they're at. In fact, I don't know if I still have this. Let me just do this. I had it. That's the exploration. Okay. All right. Here's the photo here, and you can see right where this happened, and that's in Galaxia's chaos. I'm sorry, kind of brutally messed that up. But anyway, you can see nuclear explosion. This is what they were showing. Dr. John Brandenburg was saying. Look where the Curiosity rover is, just south of this smaller explosion. Look what the Opportunity rover is, right below Cydonia Mensa, or the Cydonia region. Let's see. Let's see if I can find that other photo. This is just as equally as... Where are these other ones now? Look at Curiosity here on the right, insight north of it. Okay, now keep in mind these areas are above, because remember Opportunity was just above here. Where's ExoMars? Where's the Pathfinder? Where was it? With, let's see. Well, you get the Viking 1, you get the Viking 2. You can see those two. One on the right, one on the left. And you've got the Sojourner rover with the Pathfinder right here on the left. The newest one's ExoMars, Mars 2020. Imagine that. It's more north and much closer to where these explosions were. Again, guys, do you believe this is all just happenstance? No. This was absolutely played out perfectly. And you can see right here, just west of Opportunity, you can see the Valles Marineris right here. And you can also see where the three volcanoes are right here. This is the one here that was actually had the plume coming out of it. Okay, right there. But, you can see this right here. Check this out. It's right there in your face. Again, explosion. Well, I'm sorry, over here. Explosion over here. Explosion over here. And just north of Curiosity and just north of Opportunity, we got ExoMars and we got InSight Lander. And then, of course, we've got Mars 2020 in the middle of both of those. Come on, guys. Come on. This was no accident. These guys knew exactly where to drop these bad boys. Every single one of them. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like they're only 20 miles or, 10 miles away from each other. They're quite far away. But if you notice where the explosions were, they were quite expansed and they were spread apart. Well, there you go. And if the prevailing winds are blowing downward, or blowing, it looked like southwest, at least from the photo. Looks like it's blowing southwest. Okay. Still, they're closer to the areas where these explosions happen. Is that just simply an accident that they're there? I don't think so. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's no mistake. They weren't sitting there with a dartboard going, hey, guys, just put on a handkerchief over your eyes and just throw a dot and we'll just, see where we can land. No. This was done intentionally. So when you start putting the pieces together, when you start going, okay, so we got weather on Mars, we have these two large explosions, there's all of these landers, rovers, you name it, they're all over these areas. There's a reason for it, right? Julia said, miss you like crazy. Can't wait for you to see all of our hard work. I can't wait is right, and can't wait to get some of it out of there, too, for everybody to see. And, like I said, just pace yourself, get it to come out right, and this way here, no flaws at all, and everybody will be able to jump on the site and have a great look at it. Can't wait for it either, so definitely looking forward to it, no doubt. Let's see. Louis Longbear, thank you very much for your support. It is appreciated, sir. He said, hey, Chris and Chad. Elon just won a contract to send astronauts back to the moon and by 2024. Are we signing up? Well, let's do this. Let's hope this heli doesn't crash. So far, it's not even getting off the ground, at least according to them, right? And I think we were just explaining, that this thing has been in the air. At least that's the way it looks anyway, right? But again, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate it. You said, and by the way, I just heard that too. I was just telling these guys not long after we got started. somebody had put it on Twitter that he had gotten the contract to do that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I was like, yes. And he wants to do that anyway. It seemed to me he wants to have, for X amount of dollars, you can get on his spaceship and they can go around the moon and then come back for X amount. I don't know if it's 300,000 or whatever the hell it was. It was something ridiculous, I'm sure of it, right? So, Sean, again, thank you very much for your support, man. I appreciate it. You said, have a bear on me, Chris. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Sean. I do appreciate it. Nothing like just tilting one back every now and then, you know what I'm saying? Oh, again, Julia, you're too kind. He said, just because. Thank you very much. And like I said, looking forward to that, the new photos coming out. And like I said, she's already shared some with me, guys, and I'm not going to put them out yet. I agreed. I want her to get everything back up there, get everything on the site the way she wants it, get it Gucci, and then we're going to have a look, and then we can share it with you. And she's the one to thank because she's going to want to bring these stuff out, and I'm just going to convey it to you. So, yeah, I can't wait. Looking forward to it, definitely. 6, what's going on? You said, you were talking to James, of course. But what's going on? Good to see you in there. Let me see. This thing just jumped on me. Kira Tabanis, he said, does SpaceX have permission to land over these places to document those machines? I don't know exactly what they're doing, to be honest with you. I mean, they just got the contract as far as going to the moon, so I'm not really sure. I'd be curious to see how much is in that, meaning when, I know they said, but was it 2024 I think we were just talking about. But either way, I'm actually looking forward to that, and I can't wait because, yeah, just many things happening with space, guys. It's just awesome, and I can't wait for it. So between what we got going on here on Earth, which is, what Julia wants to bring out, and what Sarah started doing, and now Julia's running with it, which is awesome. So again, let's just from here on Earth being secrets held to on the moon, to Mars, and I'm sure it's much more than that. We know that, right? Probably just about every moon and every other darn planet we've already been around. And of course, they're not going to say that, but yeah. Donald, you said perfect selected to take more samples for verification. For nuclear signature. Let me put this a little bigger here. I use it like that. That screen a little bigger than that. Ricardo, he said, in my estimation, both a nuclear disaster and a huge electrical arc discharge wreaked havoc on Mars. Not necessarily at the same time or from the same cause. Well, true, it can be. It could be different cause. We don't really know exactly. But from what they've observed, it was the two explosions, right? That was the last thing they observed on Mars. And, of course, they found evidence of xenon-129 as well as other, gases and different parts of radiation and stuff like that. So that was the latest they saw. Excuse me. Now, is it possible that it happened, this electrical discharge happened prior to that? Well, sure. Anything's possible. But when they say that this is what caused Valles Marineris, I'm not so sure that's the case. Now, I don't know for sure. I'm 50-50 on it, right? I gotta wet my whistle. Let me see. Martin Penwright, yeah, you're right. He said, I bet Elon could build a chopper for less bucks. Probably could. Probably more sophisticated, too. Kings of Israel says, Mars passed through a tail of a large comet. Well, they say that it might have happened at some point where there might have been like a meteor shower and just come right through the solar system. And this is the reason why, at some point where, it just about almost ended life here on Earth, which wiped out the dinosaurs. It could have hit like multiple planets. And of course, depending on the direction it came in, it could have hit Mars as well. Could have been the same exact meteor shower. And of course, they have all kinds of theories about what happened. So I guess any one of them could be right, and every one of them could be wrong. We don't know, right? Right, wrong. Oh. Kyle, you said, sometimes I give my last 10 here for the week. Well, as long as you still got money for the next week, I guess you're all right. But yeah, don't spend your last money. We don't want to see that. Money's good. It should be in your pocket. But we always love to support. You guys know that. Okay, so like I said, we've got that one. And like I said, this is the one where it shows the actual explosion area. So again, we see where the 2020 rover is over here. Of course, it's not going to be very clear. But anyway, the 2020 rover is right here, where supposedly, think about this, if that's where the explosion really was, we've seen where the Mars 2020 rover is right here. It's literally almost between them, or just under or south of this area. And the other one, the actual Mars, was over here. Imagine that, just about underneath these areas. Again, was it just pure coincidence? I don't think so. I don't believe that's the case. The Humble Pie says, great place to be. Absolutely. I like being here myself. I like talking to everybody here. It's awesome. Let me kind of jump down here. James Cragen says, Chris, I got a great video from one of our own truth seekers here tonight. It's called Project Red Star. It's just a couple of years old and 2 to 3 hours of fantastic images and evidence from Mars. Project Red, why does that sound familiar? Project Red Star. I think I've seen that one, Ricardo. He said, if anyone is interested in the idea of electric geology shaping the landscape, then I recommend the Electric Geology series by Andy Hall. I think I've seen a couple of those. Oh, okay. All right. Provided by 6. Sweet. No, but I heard it from somewhere else too, Six. He said, I've been advertising it here for a while, Chris. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, I've heard it some other place too. I'm trying to remember where I heard that. Oh, yeah, MG Toe, you said if you tilt the Earth back up to where it was before it was tilted, you'd find an interesting discovery and where the landscape was before it was tilted. Well, everything shifts around because when they have like a pole shift and stuff like that, right? Weather goes haywire, things move around. Heck, you can even get, a meteor come in, hit a continent and shift all of the continents. So amazing things and probably really scary things happened back thousands of millions of years ago here. No doubt. Okay. Yeah, I know I heard of it. Josh D said, I know Project Red Star was on Project Unity before in chat. Okay. H-Dots1AV, what's going on? By the way, I got back to you in that video, the one you had done up then Odyssey.com, which is awesome. Pretty cool video. He said, well, quartz in the crust wouldn't be affected at all by electrical plasma from the sun's corona. Goat Squeezy, you said Tesla proved that either real and quantum is a I think he said ether, really. Real and quantum is a dead end to understanding reality. Yeah. I mean, hell, they're even saying now we could be living in the Matrix, for all we know, right? Let's see. William Johnson, you asked, wasn't it that video, the astronauts went to Mars, Red Star? No, I think it was Red Planet, wasn't it? No, I sure haven't, Ricardo. He said, have you watched any of the Randall Carlon podcast with the Snake Brothers? No, I sure haven't. Oh, you're welcome, H-Sauce. Let me see. You're talking to John. Okay. Yeah, they do, H-Sauce. You said earthquakes pop with sun's activity. Yeah, I mean, you'll get, depending on the, what do you call it? You get the plasma ejections and everything else. It'll have an effect on our atmosphere, magnetosphere. It can affect the planet quite a bit. So it's kind of hard, to determine what happened to Mars itself. But, yeah. George Mayer, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris, and all. Made it again. Well, glad you're here, George. Good to see you here. So, 6, this is on your channel, right? You said? Because I'll definitely check it out. Distorted reality. Richard C. Hoagland was right, that old son of a you-know-what. A biatch. Oh, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, that was a good one, Rich S. He said, Fire in the Sky, great film. It actually was a really good one. All right, 6, we'll definitely check that out for you. Or with you. We'll definitely check that out. Noise Magician, you said the dude that claims he can predict earthquakes is a fraud. You can disprove him within minutes. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, though. Because there's several people that actually do that. So, yeah. H-Draws1AV says you can't predict earthquakes, only do observations at a technology point. Well, that's what it is. That's, the ones I watch is that they're going by sun's activity, the way our coronal is, coronal ejections, and the way our Earth is at the time. And, of course, they can do this, computer models and stuff like that, and they can tell whether it's going to be earthquake's going to be on the uptick or anything of that sort. That happens. So, yeah. This is what Alfie was showing me earlier. Now, this is great. I still got it in Photoshop, so let's have a look at this. This is great because he says, where are the wheel marks? I was waiting for somebody else to notice that, but nobody else did. Here, nothing. In between the wheels, nothing. And after the wheel, nothing. Does this thing just like glide over there? I mean, what happened here? Anybody? Oh, yeah. So, it's not only in that photo, but this is the one I just had up here, too. You can, well, this is a little harder to see, but, because it's more on a tilt. But I'm not seeing any wheel marks between these either. Because keep in mind, this one, and you can see this is stitched together. You can see how the wheels are distorted here, but, so that's because it's stitched. But as far as the center wheels are always a little further out than the other two on the ends, right? So, now, I'm not sure if right here behind this one here has got it, but it looks like it's still that stitch line, so it may not be that at all. But I don't see it at all right here. I'm not seeing it. Where the done? Yeah, exactly. Ernest Hines, he said, Junior, he said, flew there. Yeah, maybe the helicopter took it over there. Yep, definitely schmucks. But yeah, I mean, this to me, come on. I'm looking at this and I'm saying, yeah, where is these wheel marks? And like I said, this one doesn't show it either. I'm not seeing it. Now, you could have very solid ground where the wheels wouldn't go in, but come on, you know there's at least some loose sand and gravel that's clearly going to show these wheel marks. Come on. We're definitely going to show it. No, it's just the way it's, like I said, it's stitched right here, Ricardo. Like, if you look right here, you see the stitch right here. See this piece right here, the black piece or the gray piece? See how it's they're spliced together. See, one here, it's got a break there. It's got a break there, so therefore it's actually messing with this wheel the way it looks, too. So that's actually a stitch, the way they stitch this thing together. There's actually 1, 2, 3. Might even find one more over here. No, I'm not seeing another one there. I don't even see wheel marks behind this one. That's what I'm saying. Where they at? Not seeing it. And like I said, with this photo, not seeing it here either. Before or after. I mean, I do wear glasses, so I could be blind, but I'm not seeing them. I'm not seeing these things at all. Right? Oh, yeah, Alfie, yeah. I mean, there's so much covered up in here. It's sad. It really is. Like when I just did this video on today, so definitely check it out. But, you know, when I look at this, I'm going, yeah, I'm looking for them too. And I was waiting for somebody else to notice, and Alfie come up with it and said, hey, where's the wheel marks of this darn thing? I said, great question. I'm glad I'm glad somebody noticed that. Mervyn Gravel, appreciate your support, man. Thank you. He said, it never took 4 billion years for today's tech. Well, that's true. Absolutely true. Oh, hold on. Darn thing. Let me move back. Well, that's what it'd have to be, John, wouldn't it? He said, is the dust frozen solid? No. And even then, you know, at least somewhat weight of it is going to at least go into that, because even during the day it gets up, especially in the summertime, if they're next to the equatorial region, it can get anywhere between, 60 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So absolutely can get that warm. I'm not exactly sure which one you're talking about, James, but thank you very much for your support. You said, how about the old clear pic Mars X3D had in his Hangout a few days ago? The one the CGI boys forgot to blur. The one with the Sphinx in the background. Oh, okay, yeah, you're talking about the same one I had just done. In fact, if you guys watched me on Jean-Claude's, live feed, which was Wednesday, if you guys watched it on there, I actually brought that photo up and showed that, and there's so much more in that photo. Oh, my God. It's absolutely insane how much stuff is really in there. Yeah, I watched his. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's like I said, they're leaving breadcrumbs, right? It's like, you'll cover everything else, but, well, wait a minute. Why go through all that trouble and not cover it all? I like this little pad right here. You see this right here next to this wheel? That's nice. Almost perfect square there, right? Unreal. Let's back out of that. Yeah, I mean, you should be able to see wheel marks. And don't get me wrong, these wheels here can actually turn completely right now. It can pretty much just turn this way. So right now it's vertical, it can turn horizontal. It can literally just completely turn. So the middle wheels can like be a pivot wheel. It can literally turn around in place. Zero turning radius. But the middle ones can't do that. So in other words, you'd have to have wheel marks somewhere. It had to have come from somewhere, and yet we don't see that, right? Martin Penright, you said, is there any earlier pictures of the helicopter? Is it still the same place? It should be, because that's supposed to be its the launch pad, as they call it. Now, whether it is or not, I'm not sure. Because it shouldn't have gone anywhere. It should have stayed right where it's at. Right? Now you can see the wheel mark's pretty good here on the right on this thing. But this should be the same exact spot. Because if you remember, it dropped it, and it was between the two wheels from the underbelly. It dropped right there on the ground. Now, we don't know, though. It's hard to tell. You'd have to look at the earlier photos and absolutely be sure. Because it may very well be. But that's an awful lot of dust on them rotors. If that thing didn't lift off, because think about it, it's one thing to give, spin them a few times. Okay, we have a fault. That's it. Is it going to build up that much dust on them rotors in that short amount of time? I don't know. And is it going to get that much on the solar panel just by sitting there? And like I said, for some reason, this looks like mud, like damp mud on the top of this. On the very edge of this darker dust, it looks like it's wet. And I'm loving how we're seeing like a blur right here. You see this, like there's a strip of blur right here, more blur right here. You can see like right up between it, the white shows up really good, those little lines. And then all of a sudden it's like blur on this side, blur on this side. That's pretty interesting. You see something here. I can't go any further. I don't know, guys. I think we're actually seeing purposely blurred areas here. Right there, if you look at the very bottom, right here at the solar panel, you can see a nice straight line. It looks like a blur. Why are these lines? There should be white lines all the way through. Right through that. Right there. But either way, let's say it's normal. That's the way it belongs. Okay, which I don't think it looks right at all. But let's say it is. I don't have a problem with that. But how is this thing going to fly if it's strictly solar? Oops. Ricardo, maybe the rover has anti-grav. They don't need the copter, really. Yeah, that'd be something, wouldn't it? That would be insane. Speaking of which, when you say anti-grav, do you guys see the latest, supposed to be the Fast and the Furious 9? Is it me or did they get totally ridiculous with it? It's like he's got like anti-magnetic things in his charger and it pushes these cars away on the sides and everything. Look at the trailer to it. Oh my God. It looks like a lot of action-packed, but it's so far-fetched stuff. It's just crazy. They're ready to go off, off a cliff, and somehow the car picks up a rope on the ground. Don't ask me how it does this, and then it literally swings off one cliff and goes to another. Wow. It's just getting sillier and sillier every time. Don't get me wrong. I like the series when they first start off because it's pure race cars and stuff like that. It was just fun to watch. They're just getting really stupid now. HSTOS1AV said, I think the software was overly aggressive with the overlay. Yeah. I'm going to look into this a lot more. And, I'll tell you what. I just think that's just weird. It just happens to be, too, if you notice, see the rotor right here is going like this. It just happens to be even with this mud. See that? Like the line of it's right there going just like that right off into the rotor. Now, again, it might be just coincidental. It might not be a big deal. Let me see if we can do this. Maybe it won't be as blurry with this. Or grainy. That's a little better. Not a whole lot, but speaking of which, let's do this. Now we can see if we can really see this blur. Yeah, guys, I don't know. Looks like it's been purposely blurred here. See it? Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys take on that? You think this thing's flown before? Or you think it's just did nothing more than test? What do you guys think? Christine Ingram, what's going on? He said, of course I am sure Mars has perfect squares in their natural environment, especially bits of steel. LOL. Yeah, of course. We're just all silly. Of course it has it. Oh my God, that's good. Like I said, I think this thing's already done its actual, did what it had to do. It seems like this thing's been flying around for quite some time to be able to do that. And would this cause, let me say it the right way. I'm trying to get the question out properly. If there's a lack of humidity, would you still see this on the blades, this dust? Or is it because it's been flying a long time, or is there more humidity than they're saying? Because it could be closer to the ground, keep in mind, right? Because there is actually water vapor underneath the sand, and if it gets heated enough, it'll probably have humidity right there at the surface. So if that's true, then is it possible that that's what caused that thing to do that? If it was only sitting on the ground, that is. Is it possible to feel it? But it looks like dry dust here on the blade, and yet it looks moist on the solar panels. Can anybody make heads or tails of that? Yeah, there you go, James. That was pretty funny. Of course, this thing jumped so far on me here. Let me see if I can find it again. Nope, I guess I can buy it again. Let me see. I'll just jump down here. All right, Sean. It says, good night, all. See you next week. All right, Sean. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate your support, man. You have yourself a good weekend there, right? Be safe. Eric Roth, your question was, do you think that it might be a reflection of the sky with clouds? Keep an eye on this in the future. And, well, we already know there's clouds in the skies, so I don't know if they'd hide that. But even, Ricardo, you asked a similar question. He said, could the solar panel be purposely blurred to hide it's reflecting? And that's a very good possibility. Very good possibility. You're both right. Now, as far as reflection-wise, we already know there's clouds in the skies because I've showed them plenty of times, and it's been recently on other people doing these videos as well, where there is definitely got like a cirrus clouds in the sky and other cloud formations, so no doubt. So 6, you said you don't think it's flown yet. Okay. What's the consensus, guy? What do you guys think? Now keep in mind, I think this thing only weighs like 4 pounds, right? Now keep in mind, if that's true, it doesn't weigh that. It's probably not even half that on Mars, so which should make it get off the ground even easier, right? I mean, basically the thing's all rotors. So, with that weight, let's say it weighs a third of that, if that, of 4 pounds. So, or even a quarter of that, we would be a 1 pound, 1.5 pounds roughly. So this thing should have no problem taking off whatsoever, even in a very, very light atmosphere. It should have no problem, especially if they can spin that thing up to like maybe 3,200 RPMs. I think the norm is around 25, roughly, give or take a little bit. So if they had to, they could pump that thing up fast and get it off the ground. They already did it in a test cell. They should be able to do it there too. And this thing looks like it's been flying around for quite a while. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying everybody has to agree with that. I'm just saying this thing looks like it's been in the air for a little bit. If there's no dust flying around at the time, there's an awful lot on that blade, including the one below it. You can see it, that blade, that rotor right there underneath it. It's got light dust on it as well, and there you go. Oh, it could be. Alfie Joe Bobby said, I think it's something under the panel that they are hiding. Okay. Distorted Reality says gear. Okay. Could be. King of Israel says military secret test. Well, keep in mind, as far as any kind of military of that sort is, the DoD is involved with Mars. We know that. So I believe they're the ones pulling the strings on what they can see and what they can, divulge to the public and what they can't, right? Josh D said, well, from the dust evidence, it had swing those rotors very, very fast. Well, again, I mean, they're talking about 2,500 roughly. And, of course, they can probably vary the speed. It probably knows, maybe through a sensor underneath the rover plus the camera itself. As soon as that thing starts to spin, maybe it goes up gradually. And because they don't want this thing to just go whoosh, to take off the ground real quick. So it'd have to start like a regular helicopter and build up and then take off. So it probably knows when the camera senses or a sensor sees the separation of the distance from the bottom of the helicopter to the ground, it probably knows, okay, you can hold off right there. In other words, it knows just how far, okay, we got enough speed as it's building up and it starts to lift, it knows, okay, leave it right there, we're lifting. And it can adjust accordingly. From what I understand, this thing is very, very, very smart as far as technologically. So it wouldn't surprise me. Green-Eyed Child says, I think it flew and landed upside down and something set it upright again. Well, it kind of looks like it went off to the side, but of course I don't see anything else that may indicate it, as far as on the blades anyway. But if this thing landed the way it did, there's a good chance the solar panel would have hit the ground before the actual, I'm looking at it right here, I'm trying to think, if that's just close enough, but it looks like the solar panel would hit the ground before the rotors would, right? And nothing else would get dirty. So I don't know. And I like the idea of this 1 foot. See how it's got like this little hook? Got like this little ring type thing? All the other ones don't have it. I wonder what that was for. Any idea, guys, what that's for? I found that interesting. I looked at this picture before and I was like, why the heck does it 1 footing actually has like this little slotted hole type thing and all the rest of them don't have it? It's even showing a little bit here on the other blade here, guys. Look at this. Looks like it's got light dust on this side, too, as well. So you know as well as I do, because if it has it on one side, it's going to have it on the other as well, right? So I think this thing actually did a mission already. That's just me, though. Mimi Reaction said, Chris, one of the rotor blades looks bent down. I think it's just the way it's, because you got to remember, this one here on the top has got a tilt to it. And so the bottom, it may kind of look weird, and it might actually look like that, but I don't believe that it is. But who knows at this point, right? Hard to tell. Woody, you said the color of the ground keeps changing. Sometimes it looks brown, and other times it looks beige. They keep messing with the filters. Yeah, exactly. Well, again, they also go by what color tricks the eyes better, and if they want to hide, or maybe the certain colors actually help with the blurring so you don't see it as much, or any kind of modifications they want to do to the photo. So maybe that's what it is. I find this interesting too. This one here, this leg looks scraped up. Now you would think, okay, maybe it's because it's in the sun, and that could very well be. But I don't see it really doing that on this back leg. But yet right here, it looks like it's all scratched up, and from here, then it kind of stops. And from this leg here, the footing, up to right about here, it really starts, right here. And it looks like it's been scraped up. Is that just me, or is that just because of sunlight? Because keep in mind, it looks like the sunlight's coming right here, directly between the landing feet. And you would think this one here would be like real shiny as well. I wonder what's up with that. Ricardo, it's a great comment. You said dust can be electrostatically charged, so to stick to things. So I'm wondering if this is set up the same way the other rovers were, both the Opportunity and the Spirit, where it had electrostatic charge where it can actually repel the dust. Do you remember that? They had this set up so they could literally just hit a charge on it, and it would literally repel the dust. That's why I was really curious why the Opportunity, it became dead because of the dust storm. Who knows? Maybe it had a snowstorm too. But the dust storm supposedly was like planet-wide, right? And said cover the solar panels and they can't do anything with it. So I'm wondering what really happened to Opportunity. Something tells me it's still roving around. And I wonder if this was set up to do something similar to that. And if it has, that's not looking too good. I just noticed too. Just noticed a little antenna sticking out of the front of this thing. Right there. Right at the top. Right there going like this. Looks like a little omnidirectional antenna. Which would have to because it's got to transmit its information back to the considered rover. Mimi said it really looks scraped. It really does. In my eyes, that's what it looks like. Like I said, the way the sun's coming off and it's hitting both of these legs, it looks like it's equally. Looks like the same angle. Okay. We should be able to see that one shiny as well, shouldn't we? No C says low gravity plus thin atmosphere equals dust flying high and setting slowly all over the place. Yeah, but this right here, what we're seeing on this blade, this rotor here, that's indicative to it actually spinning. Like I said earlier, it's like looking at your ceiling fan. If you look at your ceiling fan in your house and you hadn't dusted it, what do you see? Dust right on the part where it cuts through the air. You'll see dust all over that side of the blade, and that's what we're seeing here. I don't believe it's just dust settling. This thing's turned. It's moved. And it's been doing it for a while to be able to build it up like that, too. James, he said, Chris, to be honest, I think it looks like it has been up there and it is just waiting to fly back up. Really can't take any more of the 6 trillion excuses NASA are feeding us. Nothing wrong with it, man. Well, that's true. But like I said, I mean, the way I see this thing, for something that's just been sitting on the ground, in other words, it just had a little fault. It just said it started to turn the rotors just a hair bit and it went faulty and it quit. So, and I get that. Because if it's got some kind of error in it, it's going to stop itself, and I get that. But like I said, they tested the heck out of it here on Earth, pretty much got all the bugs out of it. Now there's a ton of them now, suddenly plaguing it now that it's here. Now, is it possible it got jarred a little bit? But I don't know how they can mess with software. Hardware, yes. Software, not so much. I don't know. I see this thing as it's been used already. Just the way it looks, the dirt. And you can see, like I said, you can see right here in the middle of this one, on the top, that section right there, and onto the edge right there. So from here over, you can see it all over the blade, bottom one as well. And again, it'd be on this side because they're opposing spinning blades, right? Right there. And on that blade as well. So, yeah. This thing's been spinning for a while in order to get that kind of dust. Yeah, we were just talking about Woody. You said, I heard one of the feet has a hole in it. Not sure why, though. Yeah, because like right here, like I said, it's got that like rectangular ring type thing and that foot. And that footing, so I'm not sure if that can be picked up somehow, if it should fall over. I'm not sure. I really don't know. But you can bet some way they can upright this thing if it fell over. You'd think they would think of this stuff because, well, maybe a windstorm, whoops, goes over. But this is the reason why they had the footing, the legs themselves kind of spread out pretty good. So this thing has really good stability while it's just sitting on the ground. Well, no, see, you said yes, it has turned because of the test, no flight. We don't know that. It just said that it just spun just slightly and then it quit. As soon as it started, it quit. So, and like I said, it would have to turn for a while to be able to build it up. And how did it build it this much on the solar panel? And like I said, I don't know if you were here, how long you've been here, but look at the dirt. It's darker, almost looks like a mud. It looks like it's damp. And then this side here looks like it's real light. And of course, we were analyzing this earlier where it looks like it's actually has like these streaks, well, not streaks, but lines of blur right here. You can see it right here. The edge of it right there going upward. Same thing on this side. There's like a streak of it right here, all the way down. Why is this not white? We need to check out an older photo, meaning something when it's just been dropped. But check that out. Now, if it's designed that way, I don't have a problem with it. What I do have a problem with is all of this on here. Is that going to be enough to supposedly charge this thing back up? And how do you get that much crap on it just by a simple, quick test? It's not going to happen. What's going on, Adam? He said, good morning. All happy Saturday for me. Just watching ABC News issues with the helicopter already. How many days was that? Revealing too much information, so they shut it down with a glitch. At this point, that's what it looks like. I even said that. Watch, they'll come out with some BS problem. It'll either crash, something will happen to it. Now, I'm not saying that they won't get it rectified and straightened out. My question is, even if they could get the software straightened out, unless they got an internal power supply to this, I don't see how this thing could recharge batteries. I don't. So unless they can have this thing land somehow on top of the rover, and it's got one of those wireless charging like you can do to your phone, I don't see how this thing can fly again. I just don't see it. Half of that, at least quarter to almost half of that solar panel is completely covered in crap. Brian Norton, what's going on? You said you can bet your butt that thing's already done some flights. Distorted reality. Some tech at NASA is like, oh crap, I put the leg on wrong. I like that. That's pretty good. Let me see. Well, see, that's the thing I was thinking about too, John P. Good to see you in there, by the way. He said the dust on the solar panel is from the rotor wash. I would think the very same thing, because I even said that. You got this thing, when the rotor's turning, of course, it blows outward, goes like this, and it'll come back over onto it. So the question is, did they not think of this was going to happen? So think about that a minute. Was it... The thing that comes to my head is this. They're saying to themselves, okay, we know there's a bunch of dust on Mars, okay? This is what we need to do. Even if we have it fly one time, because we know we're going to get this rotor wash, it's going to come back down on top of the solar panel. What's the chances of this thing flying again? So think about this. Did they not know that this thing was designed like that this was going to happen? Again, they're smart people. They're not dumbbells. So they probably knew this was going to happen. So they probably said, listen, we may not be able to charge this thing again. So the first time we fly this thing, we'll take off. They already tested it here on Earth. Once it's there, fly this thing. Stay up in the air as long as you can, because it's already been charged by the rover before it was dropped on the ground. So it didn't need to be charged again by the sun. It took off, took all the pictures it needed aerial-wise, probably flew around a little bit, came back down. They don't care now. It doesn't matter. They got the information they needed. And they knew the biggest mission was to see if they can get something to fly on Mars to begin with. Does that make sense to you guys, or do you think that you have different ideas? Supreme Ruler, yes. Yeah, good thinking. He said hole may be a tie-down point whilst nestled in the rover. And it could very well be, because remember, this thing was actually sideways in the rover. And then, of course, when it sprung open, the thing came down straight. And, of course, the two legs came out after. So that could very well be. But I'm just wondering, because remember, the two legs came down after the fact. So when the body of it came down straight, the two legs already came down with it. And then the other two snapped into place. So I'm wondering why, like I said, there's only just the one that has it. You would think two would have it. But who knows, right? Christine Ingram, he said, I said about the tracks because there were none where the rover was, Perseverance rover was. Exactly. I mean, this thing should not just appear out of nowhere. In other words, there should be wheel marks like we're seeing here on the right-hand side in this photo, right? So, something you should be questioning. MG Toy said the dirt is on the blade beneath the clear solar panel. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can see it right here, and you can see it on the blade below it, and on the edge of it right there. Just like we can see here in this one, like right here. He's giving me crap here. All right. You can see it right here, and then you can see it on the very edge. And then we got the other one, which spins the other way. You can see it right here on the edge of it. And you can see the actual dust on it as well. And in the one in the back, again, you can see it on the very edge. And like I said, I think they knew that this thing had one shot. And they knew it was going to fly, and they made sure of that. And this is the reason why it looks so crappy. I think this thing's been in the air. That's just my personal opinion. Now, you guys believe otherwise, and that's fine too. Let me see. Yeah, exactly, Max 007. You said part of the experience was indeed to test flight on Mars. NASA scientists said so. Yes, their biggest thing was their only test, according to them, was to see if something would fly on Mars. And that was the main mission. I don't think that's the only mission. Like I said, I believe this thing's been in the air. They've done a test. They flew and did what they had to do, take the pictures of whatever they wanted to take a picture of. It's now down, and like they said, this other sub said, well, that's from rotor wash, and I totally agree. But how did it accumulate that much just by spinning and doing a test, and that was it? And again, it kind of looks wet as opposed to dry. So, and the other thing, like I was saying, is enough dust on here. It looks like it's been flying for quite a while, and I don't mean like hours on end. I mean it could have just been on there, a couple flights, and that was it, and then it got, basically. Hampered with the dust on the actual solar panels. That's what it looks like to me. What's going on there, John Che? Good to see you in there. I said, geez, NASA, aren't that dumb? Surely make the solar panel vertical and it would last longer. I don't get it unless it was for space on the journey. No, exactly. Except, like I said, it was fully charged by the rover. So it didn't have an issue when it was put down on the ground. Think about it. It makes kind of sense when you think about it. You go, okay. So if it's fully charged, we don't really care about the solar panel. As long as we can get one good flight out of this thing. Again, they've accomplished their mission. So they know something can fly on Mars. And the other mission is the recon mission. And they see what that rover is sitting inside, meaning all the area around it, and get like an eagle eye of everything in that area. All it's got to do is go straight up, guys. So all it's got to do is stay up there for 7 minutes, spin slowly, take a X amount of photos, send it back to the rover. It's done. That's it. It's mission's done. They don't care, like I said, if it caught on fire when it hit the ground. They don't care. As long as they get what they need out of it, that's the whole idea, right? Josh D said one of the reasons they want to be there, and I mean all countries, is who were the guys with the big nukes and will come back. And will they come back? Well, it's hard to tell. I mean, either way, they want to get the technology, and it's like almost like today's space race, as opposed to the Soviet Union and us and the United States back in the day, right? It's like, but now they're just working and collaborating together, where they can, go to these, go to Mars, get all the information they need, and they're all working together. As far as the higher ups in these space agencies, or basically all these 3-letter space agencies, and that's what they're doing. It's as simple as that. I thought about that too, Max. You said a different foot could be for orientation. Could very well be. Yep. Kind of like the drones. Like the drones we have today? Like on 2 of the rotors, it'll be like blue lights, and on The other ones will be red lights, so you know which one is which way it's facing. Like the blue lights may be the actual forward, the red lights are the actual behind the rotor. So it could very well be something similar to that, so they know, like you said, orientation. I thought about that too. Cali81, the question was if it only had one shot, what was it taking pictures of? Well, we've been saying this for quite a while. Based on what we've been seeing in these photos, it's basically a recon mission. NASA's been up on Mars since the Viking missions, right? Back in 75, 76. And they know there's an ancient or a civilization there that is in ruins. It's been nuked. Somebody observed it back in 1941, seeing 2 large explosions in Mars's atmosphere. And it's no mistake. Like I said, we've seen where the areas next to Cydonia and the other area just east of it, where there was an explosion, or 2 explosions rather, and all these landers and rovers are just south of both of these areas. So they're there for that reason. Now Perseverance is now in a different area compared to Curiosity rover, and it's just actually north and slightly west, which is closer to the smaller explosion area where that one took place. And it's no surprise. And that's what this thing's doing. They're up there for a reason. They're checking out the tech or whatever happened to this planet and anything that's in ruins, and they're checking this thing out. And I believe that this rover, this helicopter was put here for too, is to just lift off, take an aerial view, slowly turn, take how many pictures it needs, come back down. And like I said, it really doesn't need the solar panel. It just needs a one shot to fly. And if it flies, it's golden. And there you go. I mean, it's ready to rock. Get what they need, get all the information they need. They don't really care after that. Liam Stewart Brown, you said it will have a magical clean like the rover. Yeah, imagine that. Exactly. It's like, oh, we had a dust storm. It cleaned it right off. What's going on there, Cameron Davis? Cameron Davis, what's going on? Have a good night, Chris. Stay safe. I guess you're just jumping off. Stay safe. Well, then have a good weekend. You do the same, Cameron? I was trying to find the other one. MG2, I'm trying to see what you're talking about. You said, Chris, the panel is clear. The mud is on the blade underneath the panel on top. Look more closely. I don't know. Here's a solar panel right here. Okay. And it's full of mud and dirt on top, and then it's got the panels underneath it. Well, I should say the rotors, right? They're right here, shaped. Underneath, you can see the shadow of the said solar panel. Now I'm seeing the dirt and dust and everything else on top of it. And, of course, on the rotors, too. Am I seeing that wrong, guys? Or what it looks like to me. I see dust on everything, to be truthful with you, but mostly on the rotors right here. The one on the bottom underneath it. Keep in mind, this blade is going under here, this rotor. And then, of course, we get the shadow from the solar panel right here on top, casting a shadow underneath. Callie, you and the Mars cleaning crew are on a break. Well, it could be. Let me go all the way to the bottom here. Verificationist thinking, searching for aliens. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Six, you said that is showing a reflection on the ridge on your right. Let me go back out a little more. There you go. There you go. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Let me see. Dr. Z. Smith says, looks like it's been flying. Like I said, even if we were to go with, let's just say it was a simple test. I'm cool with that. Is it really going to kick up that much dust on the top of that solar panel? And if so, they just shot themselves in the foot. Think about it. Even if the thing was to do what it did, just to test itself, and it buried the solar panels. Okay. It doesn't make any sense to do that. Now, obviously, it doesn't need to charge the first charge because it's already charged from the rover. So, what's the chances of getting that thing to charge fully to take another flight? Maybe, like you said, like they were saying, maybe we'll get another dust storm and it'll clear it off. Who knows, right? Oh, so you guys are thinking it's this right here is actually a hill or something, like a ridge on the right-hand side. Is that what you're saying? Right here? I don't know, because it's so... This is what I'm trying to figure out. And I agree with you, that guy, if it's that shiny, could do that. But what I'm trying to figure out, if that's true, literally because it's looking straight up in the air, you'd have to see a mountain over its head. Think about that a minute, guys. Look. This thing is looking straight up. Now, don't get me wrong. I guess if the mountain's big enough and it was that close, it could see that. But then wouldn't it be casting a shadow in this area if that hill was that tall? Because keep in mind, this thing's it's facing straight up. So that hill would have to be super large to be in that solar panel and would have to be throwing a hell of a shadow. You probably shouldn't even see the helicopter. John Shea, you said, first time I saw the panels, I thought there was a translucent, they were translucent, but I think it's the cloud sky reflection under the dust. That could be too. But like I said, even if we could go by simply just the blades, this thing's been turning for a while. Adam, just get Matt Damon up there, and he will save the day. Pretty much, right? So you're trying to figure out the same thing, Sex. You said, I know, right? He said, that is what threw me off. So something is effed up here. Exactly. There's a lot of inconsistencies there. You try to gather all the information, say, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I'll look at it this way. Well, no, that doesn't make sense. Something doesn't make sense here at all. None of it does. Scott Duffy, what's happening? You said, maybe not. Maybe they should reinvent the windshield wiper with a soft brush. Just saying it's cheaper than keeping a crew of people there like they have now. Well, the thing is, they used to have an anti-static kind of thing on the two rovers, both the Spirit and Opportunity, because they were solar paneled. And they would have an anti-static charge where it would go over the whole top of the panel, and it would literally blow the dust right off the thing. Now, I'm wondering if it's on a low voltage level on this to be able to do that. I don't know. Well, this could be, let me just address the person. Cali81, he said, with all the rotors in the same place, how can it direct it left or right, or am I being silly? No, it's a good question. All they do is it changes the pitch, like this rotor here. All they have to do is change the pitch. So in other words, see the way it's kind of slanted this way? All they have to do is straighten it out, slant it more, change it this way. They can do anything they want, and it'll actually change the position. It'll make it fly a different way. But something tells me I don't think they were going to do it a whole lot. The plan was to go up and down, drop back to the ground. The next test was to go up and then go around in a circle and come back and land back in the same spot. That was the plan. And then, of course, if that went well, they were going to try to do a couple more maneuvers, right? And now we're in the situation we're in now. So I don't know. Mimi said, Chris, I would love to see a rock looming over the helicopter. That would be bad. Mimi said, there's so much weird stuff on Mars. That's a fact. Yeah, I mean, like you were just talking, John Shea, you're talking back with Cloudy with the chance of UFOs. And that's why I'm saying it's almost like they weren't expecting a bunch of missions out of this. They were just saying, we'll just make it look good. You know, we got a solar panel on there. We're going to try it. We're going to charge it. Again, for what reason? If you fully charged it from the rover, then you really don't need a solar panel on it. You just want to, okay, try it out. Zzz, blades are turning. Let's get lift off. If it's going to fly, it's going to fly. If it's not, it's not. Regardless whether that solar panel's there or not, it's going to fly or it's not. Now, unless they want to keep doing multiple missions, and even then, I don't know how this thing could charge. It would have to take a real long time to charge through that tiny solar panel. I don't know. And like I said, is it possible they get their own little nuclear power supply inside that? And it's very capable of doing that because we have the technology. So is it possible they put something like that in there? Once the battery's depleted, the circuitry automatically tells it's depleted. It automatically starts recharging the battery. And then, of course, it shuts itself off as far as charging-wise when it's done. And then it can go to its next flight. I just don't see how those solar panels can be that good. And if this is not a reflection itself, and it's dirt, I don't see how this thing can fly again. I don't. If that's what it is. It appears that way. Because like I said, if this is a mountain, and that's a great point you guys made. What if it's a hillside off to the right-hand side? Very interesting. But again, that thing would have to be so darn big because this thing is facing straight up. That hillside should be immensely large. And if that was the case, you wouldn't see any sun here. I would think it'd be enough to block it out. John Shea said, just getting it there cost a crazy amount, then they waste it. Doesn't make sense. Again, it's kind of, you guys even said this. You said, well, it's kind of a really stupid design because if you're going to get that kind of wash from the rotor, on and get all this dirt on top of the solar panels, what the hell is the point? So I don't think they had the intentions of continuously flying this thing, right? Solar panels on a regular rover, that's fine. It's not going to kick up any wind. The weather would do that. So, it would just blow dust onto the solar panels. So that kind of makes sense. And there's more chance of that thing running around than a helicopter, which would have the rotor wash and throw dirt and dust on top of it. And if it is a reflection, that really doesn't make any darn sense. It just makes no sense. You try to get, I know you guys are with me on this. You're trying to get your mind wrapped around, what is the deal with this thing? Just so much of it just doesn't make sense, right? And you see right here, working progresses towards Ingenuity's first flight on Mars. And, of course, trying to see what the... trying to see if this is... When should Ingenuity fly? And then, of course, they were talking about... this one here was, I think it was out before this thing went dumb. Yeah, because this is April 8th. So this is... And this is where I got the photo, by the way. It said, I love it. It said, when will it fly? And this is on the 8th. So this thing's been sitting here for quite a while. NASA's Ingenuity Mars helicopter is seen here with a close-up taken by Mastcam Z, a pair of zoomable cameras aboard the Perseverance rover. Oops, excuse me. This image was taken on April 5th, the 45th Martian day, or SAL, of the mission. And, of course, it says credit NASA, JPL, Caltech, blah, 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 blah. While the Ingenuity team has been focusing on getting ready for its first flight on Mars, the team has also been busy selecting a time for that flight. A number of factors go into this important decision. So it's almost like they're playing it off like this thing did not fly at all. Then where did all of this come from? It got dropped off the bottom of the rover, and that's pretty much it, right? Did a couple little, tried to spin the rotors, went faulty in the software. Okay. Like I said, I don't know. A number of factors go into this important decision. First, Ingenuity cannot fly at night. It depends on a camera to observe the ground while navigating, and that wouldn't be possible at night. If it weren't for that night, if it weren't for that, nighttime would be good time for the helicopter to fly on Mars. The air density would be higher, which would make flying easier. Okay, because it gets colder, right? So air is more denser. But I thought it was so light they couldn't even get it to fly. Well, barely. Well, they did figure that out. But, yeah. Next, Ingenuity needs to be a good guest. It needs to coordinate all its activities with the Perseverance rover. For example, Perseverance is keeping a watchful eye on Ingenuity with its rover's cameras and needs to know when we are planning to do certain activities. There are also times when Perseverance is busy with transmitting on the radio to relay satellites overhead, or managing the many science instruments on the rover, or performing other spacecraft operations. Through all of this, Perseverance operations team has been fantastic in meeting Ingenuity's needs. A big thanks to them. Okay. When Ingenuity is flying, it uses a lot of power, many hundreds of watts. The lithium-ion battery that powers Ingenuity's two main propulsion and six-blade pitch controls motors needs to handle power surges as Ingenuity flies and fights any winds and gusts it may encounter. Okay. That's many hundreds of watts. Okay. The helicopter's voltage needs to be maintained so that the motors do not stall or electronic devices get in trouble. Ingenuity comes out of a cold Martian night without much energy and its battery, so it needs to bask in the sun to warm up and let the solar panel charge up the battery enough to handle the power demands of that day. All this means that Ingenuity cannot fly early in the morning, midday, or afternoon, as far as afternoon are far better. Right, which makes sense. And the other thing is, too, because they do have wind, which is usually going to take place in the morning and the afternoon, and the reason why I said that is because you got warm and cold fronts. According to them, gets real cold at night and warms up rather nicely during the day, so you're bound to have wind kicking up. So that part I get. So it had to be somewhere in the afternoon, early evening, before this thing could fly, right? And enough to get a charge. Again, if that's not a reflection on them blades and it's dust, I don't know how it can lift. Flight can't happen too late in the Martian day either. A long flight late in the afternoon could deplete the battery without giving the sun a chance to recharge it. You don't want to go into the cold Martian night without a good bit of energy in the battery. So that's what I was saying. Early afternoon, or I should say afternoon or early afternoon, evening, I should say. So, and that's pretty much it. They must have like a real short window to do that. Another consideration is the expected winds at flight time. Ingenuity has been tested in simulated winds using computer models as well as a big wind wall the team built in one of the test chambers at JPL. However, we can't test over the entire range of wind conditions that one might experience on Mars. The biggest risk is a takeoff and landing, when an untimely gust could prevent challenges. To help with this, we have a weather forecast team that provides us with the best estimate of Martian winds using computer models and initial data from weather sensors on Perseverance rover. I never knew that the weather forecast for Mars could be so interesting. Yeah, some people are blown away that they could even forecast the weather. That's what's even really crazy, right? The Ingenuity operations team is considering all of the factors in the selection of the best flight time. The uplink team bakes these times into sequences and then gets uploaded in the days leading up to the first flight. And then Ingenuity will try to fly on Mars. We'll be watching and waiting. So, yeah. So if it's already getting covered with dust, and like I said, so if the winds are blowing, let's just say it's just sitting there. It never went anywhere. Okay, we can go with that. So, that should be this one. Nope. Nope. And more nope. Should be this way. So, if this thing's just sitting there and the wind's just blowing over the rotors, that's a good possibility. And it's just as steady, and this is the reason why you're getting the dust. Stephen Wagner says, I don't know why they didn't not make a device that can clean the panels off. Geez, I could come up with a device to accomplish a solar panel wiper. I guess the same genius who made the cameras. Well, yeah, I mean, they could have easily done something. Like I said, they used to have like an anti-static charge on the rovers, and you would think they could do something similar to that, right? Just kind of it could be just instant, and just enough to blow the crap right off the darn rotors. I don't understand why they couldn't do that. So, yeah, I'd be curious to see how this is going to go. Basically, in a nutshell there, John Jay. He said, so they're not there to further mankind's knowledge, just to further their own bank balance. How sad. Well, I think it's to further the technological, if there's enough on the planet that is much better than ours, then it would further us. Now, would the public reap the benefits? Probably not. Unless, of course, somehow it just gets rolled downhill like any other technology does, like microwave ovens and fiber optics and so on and so forth. A lot of times the military comes out with this, funny enough. So if the DOD is literally pulling the strings for what are these space agencies can come out with, then it makes sense that they're getting the technologies and somehow they get worked into public where it can become a useful tool for the household or whatever, right? Again, this is where all of these rovers are situated, and landers, of course. And this page here is pretty cool where it tells you just about everything. Coring drill, turret, of course, mast and everything else. But you can flip this guy around. This is pretty cool. And then, of course, it's just saying the body, which we had the panel here. This is supposed to be for the those tubes that they're going to put all the soil in, right? So they drop this first, and then it's supposed to be the actual what was it? It was the cover for the Ingenuity, which would come out of the bottom here, right? So either way, you got this would come out of the bottom here, right? And of course, you got the power supplies in the back, UHF antenna here. You've got the top one here, which is right here, the high gain, which is a directional antenna. Low gain antenna right there, a small one, which most of the rovers have. Curiosity has as well. Mask cam. And you can see these right here. Front has cams. And you can click on that. It'll tell you all about it. Right down here. Say to explore the 3D visualization of Mars Perseverance rover. Of course, it's just telling you how to do that. But anyway, the hazard avoidance cameras aid in driving, can operate autonomously and avoid obstacles. Notice how you won't tell you what these are, right? Well, you should be able to do that. Hold on. Let's see if we can do this. Nope, it's not showing that. Not showing that either. But you do have your core drill up here, your turret arm, which actually extends and opens up. sample handling right there. That should be part of the weather right here. A weather station to measure atmospheric pressure, temperature, humidity, and winds. Now, if they already know the actual pressure in the atmosphere, why would they need an instrument to constantly register? Does it change, like greatly? James, you said, Chris, is there no friggin' wind from the rotation of the blades? Stop. They didn't get that up there, so it could be dropped down and covered by dust after just one flight, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, that's a good possibility. Like I said, you could get it. Yeah, you could get that after one flight. According to them, they never even took a flight yet. All they do is just turn the rotors a little bit and it quit by itself. It went into a watchdog mode because it was trying to go, I forget if it was like auto mode or if it was just manual, whatever the thing was trying to do. But anyway, it got kicked off, it stopped just to protect the equipment. So according to this, it never even took its first flight. But you'd swear the way it looks, it definitely did. Mimi, you said I'm taking off here. Thank you for for the hangout, Chris. Good night, everyone. Sleep well and stay safe. I can't wait for number 100. All right, Mimi, you have yourself a good night, a good evening, and be safe yourself. And yeah, we'll see you on the flip side there, right? All right, Renee, just remember, just a puff, puff, pass, all right? Let's see. Yeah, Poindexter, you're going to have to look at the videos like somebody else suggested to you. There's too many things in these photos that are clearly not natural. That's all there is to it. And like I said, for me, when we analyze this photo here, it could be a 50-50 thing. But according to this, them, it hasn't flown yet. We've already looked at this thing top to bottom. And I don't believe that it has not taken its first flight. I believe that it did. Now, of course, this is like I said, I was reading this is from April 12th, so this is 4 days ago. But again, it did its first test. It went to go spin the rotors and it stopped. So for whatever software glitch that it had, and this to me looks like it's already flown. But am I wrong? Could very well be. But we'll see. I want to show you this. This is pretty funny. This has nothing to really do with Mars or anything, but this is pretty funny. This is what people thought in the 1900s, what life would look like in the year 2000, right? You got this photo here. It says, personal flying machines, right? And this is right off, you can see it's from Mashable. But this gets pretty funny. You can see where they're talking about it here, but moving sidewalks, right? They were each on these rails. Thought that was pretty funny. They thought they could move whole city blocks. It says moving an entire city block by rail. Man. Not sure of all that, but all right. This is pretty cool, right? A live audio-visual broadcast of a theater performance. Now, if you think about it, we do actually have that. You can watch this online, right? Shows a person singing, and somehow it just like puts her image onto a wall, and you can hear it through what it looks like they have the old style phone type earpieces, and you can do it at home as well. Well, don't we watch movies at home right now? Kind of wild how they do that. You're getting your sound, you can see it, or if you just want to hear it, you can do that, and you can see it if you're actually there. Pretty cool. How about a weather making machine right here, guys? Weather controlling machines. A hybrid rail ship. God, that'd be pretty interesting. I don't know where the tracks would go down to, but all right. This was a, what do you call it, Taurus submarines. It looks like a regular boat with just a glass housing. And that's what they figured they'd be doing. Pretty weird, huh? This is pretty cool, and this is what I thought about Mars, right? It says, weatherproof city roofing. Of course, you can see it raining above on this roof, and everything else is nice and, sunny. It looks nice down there, keeping out of the rain and everything else. That's pretty cool. So is it possible any other civilization that's been in our solar system, is it possible they've done the same domes or underground or anything to protect themselves from the elements, right? Master Catnip, you said $2.7 billion on the Perseverance in a cheap Mexican swap meet looking drone. This is this disposable drone. Yeah, I mean, again, its whole purpose, according to them, was that they wanted to see if they could get anything to fly on Mars. And that makes sense, right? Because it's for future missions or whatever they want to do. But again, I don't believe that's the only reason why it's there. I think it's already flew. And here's the other question people have to ask themselves. We see them, when last time they were showing us, it was making its way to Mars. It set down February 18th. Showed it showed like it was all like a, what's the word I want to use? Like artist conception kind of thing and it showed like, like it's getting closer and closer to Mars. And of course they said, oh, it's set down. Wow, this is great. Why is it that they don't, what would be cool? How about show a picture of Mars as you're getting close to it? How come we never see that? Anybody ever question that? Why can't they do that? Of course they can. Because I think you'd see the real colors of Mars, and I think you'd see what's really going on that planet. Glenn White, you said, Chris, just a matter of time before we get full disclosure. Every day we get more pictures of UFOs. Oh, absolutely. It's definitely coming. Now, like I said, I know that our military itself actually has its own probably UFOs and the technology they've had. Again, I mean, when you look back, like I said, I've said this more than once about the SR-71 spy plane. It's still the fastest one out there. Well, of course, it's retired now. But again, the planes had to have come out in the 40s. This thing was built in the 50s, and I believe there's more than one. They were built. And it wasn't public knowledge and declassified until the 90s. So, even if it was the late 80s, okay, still, how long has this thing been in existence, and what has taken its place? So, knowing that the technology we had back then, we've jumped leaps and bounds with technology. It's hard to even tell what they have now. I did, Max. He said, did you check out the first images that shows the crater rim? Yes. Actually did a video on that. Check that out. It's pretty cool. Ultravirus, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris, and hello, everybody. Hey, Strauss, no tourism to Antarctica yet. Actually, there is. They actually do have tourism up there. They have, it's only certain parts of Antarctica. You can't go to the rest where all those other military are. But, yeah, you can go there. You can whale watch and do all kinds of stuff up there. Dave S., he said, Chris, have you seen the movie Hangar 18? I have, years ago. That came out in the 80s. Really, really good movie. For its time, right? Christine Ingram, you said because you will see the blue skies, Chris, and the clouds. Absolutely. Oh yeah. Tourism at the North Pole. They got like these airships. Pretty funny. X-ray machines. Now keep in mind, X-ray surveillance device back in 1900. They said this is what it's going to be like in 2000. And you see the guy like looking literally through the wall. These guys are breaking into this door here. And of course, you got strolling on the lake with aid of balloons. But they had a heck of an imagination. But some of these things are pretty much spot on as far as, seeing different things, like X-ray machines, all kinds of stuff. Of course, the X-ray came up pretty early. But this doesn't even sound too far-fetched. I mean, you got yourself an air balloon, and you're just sitting in it, and it just propels itself. I mean, you got a little rotor at the end of it. You just steer it where you want it to go. Of course, it would probably have to be in the propeller side of it, but yeah. I thought it was pretty interesting regardless. I think it was pretty cool. Again, no wheel prints in here. No wheel marks at all. And like I said, with this one here, it makes you wonder where the wheel marks here. Nowhere to be found. Right here. Between the wheels. And after the wheels. Oh yeah, Dave. You said awesome. Glad you have. Love the ending of it, especially when the scientists talk. Some good truths given out there. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's almost like they already know, and it's like some kind of maybe a little bit of insider information, and you just get it. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. David McLeod, you said yes. At what is it? The solar panels looked like there was water on there to have made the dust into dried mud, and it looks darker where it appears to have been standing water. Well, I said the same thing, and I'm saying, well, now some of these people have said, well, maybe that it's a reflection, and what they're seeing is some kind of mountainside off to the right here. And I went, well, that could be a possibility, but because this solar panel is looking straight up, again, this hillside would have to be immensely large, and if it was that large, you can bet there'd be no sun here. It'd be literally, this helicopter would be in the shade. So I kind of dismissed that, at least for myself. I'm not saying everybody else should agree. I'm just saying, but that's the way I see it, right? About movies, you said, Max, you said your thoughts on Apollo 18 movie. I don't know. I mean, it was a little weird, right? Something was like, is that the same one that was there was something living on the moon? It was like snatching these astronauts. Pretty wild. Really good movie. I mean, if you really want to go with that. The other movie with what was it? With Matt Damon going to Mars. I thought there was. Am I the only one that was totally disappointed with that movie? You expected to see, maybe he's gonna like fall through a hole and he's gonna find this ancient civilization, or he's going to find something that was left over on the planet, or something along them lines. And I was just like, that's it? I watched the movie. I was like, okay, I'm completely disappointed. It was a good movie for entertainment, but I just expected more. So I really wasn't too happy about that movie. Good movie, but really wasn't that great as far as I was concerned. YouTube addiction, you said you assume that it is soft sand. No, I'm not assuming anything. Here's a perfect example. There's wheel marks right here on the side of this helicopter, and guess where that rover is? Right next to the helicopter. So if that's the case, we should see it just like we see here. And even if it is very hard, and I get that, I even said that early in the show, I said it could be very, very little sand, and it could be very hard in that area, but you would see a little something, man. You would see like a little sliver pieces of these wheel marks somewhere, and you don't see that at all there. You don't see it at all. And that's what I was puzzled by. You're bound to see that, somewhere, you don't see even a sliver of a mark. Nothing. Of course, this goes without saying because that's all been manipulated, but right there, nothing behind it at all. Where's it at? So it makes you wonder. Now, is it possible it is on hotter surface? Sure. This is just sad. Greens and orange and pinks and Royal Canadian RP says, hey, long time, missed last stream. Love you covering the Mars mission, obviously, LOL. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let me see. You said, Chris, be honest and admit that the pitches without wheel traces are the first ones. I'm not sure exactly what it says. Oh, the Martian, that's what it was. Thanks. Who the heck said that? Because this thing just jumped on me here. Well, several of you said it because Royal Canadian said it as well. Oh, you mean before the first drive? Yeah. But here's what you're not getting. This photo here has been manipulated. It's been manipulated in a big way. All that is in the front, the so-called softer sand, that's not sand. It's all in a manipulation. Everywhere around here, and I do this in my latest video, all right here, and this left-hand side of it is all completely manipulated. All you're seeing is right here at the rover seems to be real. All around it is completely manipulated. And I break that down in the video. And again, like I was showing you guys here, you notice how this wheel here in the middle is sticking out further? And it appears to be a slightly wider, or at least it may or not be, but may or may not be, right here to here. But it's pretty wide. But it sticks out a little further than the front and rear wheels, right? And Jesse Santiago, LOL, fake pics. Oh no, the pics are real. It's what they're doing to them is actual criminal. It's sad. Adam, you taking off? He said, even though this is always fun, got to get my butt out of here. Got to get it moving around. Have a great weekend, all. Have a couple from me. See you on the next one. All right, Adam. Good to have you in here. Thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate you. You be safe and have a good one. And yeah, tilt one back for me there, right? Bushcraft Survival Jack only says, how much weight the helicopter? It's 4 pounds, but on Mars it is less than that. It's probably a quarter of that. Maybe a hair bit more than that. So it is much lighter. It's not very heavy to begin with here on Earth, let alone on Mars. So whatever it is, even if it was 10 pounds, which they're going to try to make it lighter than that, of course, but it'd probably be quarter of that weight, being the gravitational pull on Mars, right? Good one, Ricardo. I like that. Perseverance Rover says, Red Rover. I call Ingenuity over, but Ingenuity sat there motionless. That's good. I like that. Thank you, Ricardo, for your support, man. I do appreciate it. That's good. Robert Haber, you said, I live in the desert, and even on packed dirt, there will be disturbances in the ground. The rover weighs as much as a car, and the wheels are smaller. Should have made an imprint in the ground. And I totally agree. Here's the thing. The wheels are about 20 inches in diameter. Now, keep in mind, the rover is on Earth, it's about a ton. I think it's like, I forget what it is. Is it 2,200 pounds? Maybe you know off the top of your head, Ricardo, or somebody else would know. I think it's like 2,300 pounds. But keep in mind, this is what you got to do. Take the weight of the rover, and then you're going to look at the actual Martian gravity, which is a lot less than Earth, and then you're going to divide that by 6. So how much weight is on each wheel? I figured out, like I said, I'd come out to like, I think it was like 175 pounds. Now, keep in mind, the Curiosity rover is lighter, okay? Its lightness is, I think it's just below 2,000 pounds, so it's almost just about a ton. So you've got the rover itself, let's say it's 2,000 pounds, either one. Doesn't matter, Curiosity, Perseverance. Now, again, divide that by 6, and then you got to divide it by the gravity that's on there, and this thing doesn't weigh nearly as much, or at least there's not that much weight on each wheel. This is the reason why I try to determine that, and I don't remember what the numbers were now. I'm just guesstimating now. But this is the reason why we're trying to figure out how are the wheels getting so darn torn up on the Curiosity rover. It doesn't weigh as much as it does on Earth. And each individual wheel doesn't have all that ton on it. So, and again, you got to take into, it doesn't weigh nearly as much on Mars. And then you got to divide the weight by 6. Phil C. says, good night, everyone. It was fun as usual. See you all next time. Hit like if you've enjoyed it. Absolutely, guys. Nail that thumbs up for me. All right, Phil C., good to see you in there, man. Glad you were in here. Glad you were hanging out with us. As always, be safe. Have a good weekend there, right? Royal Canadian, you said, so what's your thoughts, Chris? Do you think they have people on Mars tending these boys, etc.? I think they are looking at building in terraforming, rather. Well, the plan was, at least Elon's plan was to terraform. I don't think they have to. I think that planet can actually sustain life. There's enough oxygen lowest to the ground. And, of course, I forget what they said it would be like equivalent to like a high elevation here on Earth, but you'd still be able to breathe. The only difference is it's a lot thinner air, so it'd be a little harder for you to breathe. Now, temperatures, obviously, if it gets down well below 0, you got to take shelter. And no better place to do that than underground, because it can stay a consistent temperature all the time. And as far as, people have said back in the 1960s there's been man on Mars. I don't have any proof of that. But it would not surprise me, seeing we've already been to the moon. Why not go to Mars? People say, well, you can't do that because, it's a lot longer trip. And back then it probably would have been. Maybe. Unless we had the technology. Now, keep in mind, we've been going to other planets and sending probes, or at least trying to, since the 40s. So if we've had that kind of money, the money and the technology and the crunching of the numbers and everything to get these things to, like Mercury, Mars, stuff like that, Soviet Union was one of the first ones trying to get to different planets, including Mars, right? So, of course, they failed. So didn't we. Until we finally made it. And they finally made it over there, at least get orbiters over there. And different people have done it since then. But, I don't know if there's actually people on Mars. Because, like I said, that one time that Opportunity had dust on the panels, they were like, it got miraculously cleaned. And everybody's like, oh, my God, there's got to be somebody up there cleaning it. They said it was a good windstorm that blew it all off. Or was it the electrostatic charge that they could put on that thing and actually blow off the dust? Good possibility, right? They do, but they don't. Bushcraft Survival, Jack, you said rockets don't work in space. They actually do. I know because you're going to say they're not pushing off anything. But here's the thing. When you take off from Earth, you have thrusters, right? Once you get on a trajectory and you're within the gravity of Earth, right, you'll always see the rockets always go off, looks like to the right or to the left, whatever it may be, right? That's to actually go around Earth, get up enough speed, and then slingshot to wherever they're going to go. So in other words, if they already got a trajectory to Mars, they don't need thrusters. It can shut everything off. They don't need it. There's nothing to slow down a spacecraft in space. So it just keeps on going on. It just uses a couple little thrusters on the sides of yaw and roll, keep it in position, get it there, and then it starts using it in another atmosphere of another planet, whether it's lower atmosphere, doesn't matter. But it still has a gravitational pull, so that's when you can use the rockets. So, again, you're pushing off something because you're going to be on, like, land, right? So, well, pushing towards something solid. But, yeah, they do actually work because, again, you got to remember how rockets are made, with the fuel and the air. It's already built into these and kind of like combustion on an engine and a regular car. The only difference is the oxygen is probably in sealed tanks as opposed to on a car. It's either some throttle body or a carburetor sucking air in through that way. They're just, like a torch, like a blowtorch. It's kind of the same way. So they do actually work, but it's how they work, at different times. MG Toe says Israel's ion engines can take people to Mars in 6 days, or so they claim. I can't even imagine the technology that the military actually has these days. I mean, if you just guys, just look at the helicopters. Look at the new helicopters out. They're insane. They pretty much can almost, they're going to get to the point where they can read everything that you do in your mind and they can do it. They're so sophisticated, it's just, they can practically fly themselves. And, the pilot just needs to be there. So the technology is there, and you could bet they haven't been making the same rocket, or they have actually to fool the public, but, they're probably just using those. But they probably have different propulsions. They've got to have it by now. They've been fooling with anti-gravitics since the 40s. So, look this stuff up. This is not a lie. Look this stuff up. So this stuff has been around for years. You can bet they got, many different propulsions, whether it's plasma, ion. Doesn't matter what it is. Guaranteed they can get to a planet in record time compared to what they're telling us here. Oh, it's, 7 months. Before it was 9 months. Now it's like 7 months, right? So, yeah. Leslie Warren, what's going on? Let me see. Let me see here. Claudia would have chanted you. Time for a snack. 2 crumpets dripping with butter. Nice. Max, she said Von Braun, that one, had made the plans to get to go to Mars and was disappointed when NASA decided to go to the moon. Yeah, I mean, he had big plans, right? I mean, listen, you can bet they all know what's on Mars, and this is the reason why just about every darn country now is going to Mars. Think about it. Again, ESA, NASA, India. I mean, this is, Russia's going, send an orbiter. China's going. I think China actually has gone, or sent a probe. Definitely to the moon. They've done that. What? Again, this is a barren planet. This is nothing here, right? There's nothing here to see. Just dusty planet. What's the point? What's this point in spending billions of dollars to go there? Makes no sense. I have, Pointex. He said, Chris, haven't you seen the Mars observer images? I find them more compelling, showing what look like banyan trees and other vegetation, not to mention dome-like and other structures. Yes, absolutely. And you can see those things sprawled out, those trees, and it almost looks like, well, not so much pine, but yeah, like you can see, like remember they had a side-by-side with those where they had some on Earth and then showed some on Mars. Totally different. But here's the thing. I've done a video on that a while back. Those trees are huge on Mars because what was in between them was all kinds of structures, but they were all whited out. bring down the brightness of these areas, and you can see what looks like rectangular pieces, all these little, what look like roadways in between them and everything else. Now, those are huge on Mars. Oh, Leslie, yeah, that reminds me. I'm glad you reminded me of that. You said, Chris, oh, not good, but I hope you got your. What I noticed, there was one photo that you had done. Remember, you had done it in the Docker, like the burn tool, right? At least that's what I think you used. The other ones, it showed more of the overlay. This is the reason why, because I was trying to find something in this photo. I'm going, I don't see a whole lot in those photos. Now, the one that you had the burn tool, where you did, I'm guessing it's like 3/4 of it, right? Where you had the other part, didn't look like it was touched. Now, the other ones, it looks like you actually found the actual overlay on those photos. Now, the other one, you can see right through. If you look through that Docker burn tool, if you didn't totally burn it, meaning, because you can overburn those, right? But if you go through it, just look through that burn tool marks that you've made, and you can see the weird pieces all over the ground. So you did a good job on that stuff. I wanted to get back to you and tell you that, so I'm glad you mentioned that. But the other ones, which almost look like a whiteout kind of thing, right? That's basically, I think when you went over that, you actually found the overlay, and the problem is you really can't see through it, though, right? That's the only problem with that. But you can. It's almost like you found the overlay to it, and you just went over the whole photo. Now the other one, like I said, where it has the burn tool marks, look through all that and look through it well. You can see all kinds of shapes and weird stuff in there that should not be in that photo. Daniel Webster, what's going on? He said, hello, everyone. Hello, Chris. What's going on, Daniel? John P. said, wasn't there a story that that Buzz Aldrin, I guess you said he went for a ride on a craft that went out and around the moon and back in an hour and a half. He had to have been taken to the hospital. No, I think you're getting them kind of mixed up. The Buzz actually went to Antarctica at the time, and he was having issues with his heart or something like that. But it's funny how many people want to go there like on a bucket list type thing, right? Now, they know that they can trust Buzz because he's kept the secrets pretty much of anything that's happened on the moon, right? So he probably said, I'd like to go to Antarctica. I'd like to see that. Again, here's a frozen tundra. So according to anybody who shows pictures, oh, no, there's nothing there but just ice. And, we just go up there to take a couple core samples to see what it was like at, once upon a time. But we know better than that due to the photos we've been analyzing and the videos I have done on Antarctica, that there's so much more there. And they probably said we could trust him. Hell, he didn't divulge anything about the moon, so, we could trust him. Let's let him go. He probably went up there and said, good Lord, what's going on here? And, again, just like on the Apollo 11 missions, what happened there? I mean, they were totally blown away by what they saw. And like I said, they all come back in a somber mood kind of thing. And really didn't want to be there. So what would make astronauts that were, took the biggest step for mankind come back in a somber mood? Think about that. If I went there and all I do is I'm just getting rocks and, I'm taking little core samples. I'm doing different things. Oh, okay. And you could see then the videos they were saying, what was he saying? I was walking through the park one day. They were singing and everything. They were in the buggy. They were flying around. I don't think that's the actual footage. I think that was staged for the people, for the public. There's just nothing more than a PR move. I think what they actually saw was things that did not belong to us, because that would actually, it would actually go by, well, what am I trying to say? If you've seen what they saw, you'd come back in the same way. So it's basically indicating what they saw, because they came back in this weirdness like this, like, I don't want to be here kind of thing. I got these things on my mind. I just don't, I can't wrap my mind around it. They were totally out of it. And like I said, when one of them says, I don't know if it was one of the people asking for the press, but they said, so what'd you guys think about the stars and everything? Could you see the stars? They're looking at each other like, stars? Did you see the stars? I didn't see the stars. No, I didn't. They weren't there for that. And if you went there and seen something unearthly, and you've seen these things, you know it's not, nobody on Earth has built this, you would not be sitting there, you know what? The stars are looking pretty tonight. You would not do that. Come on. You would totally be blown away. You wouldn't know how to wrap your mind around it. You came back. These guys should have been happy as hell. Think about it. Oh, yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. We went up there. We did what we had to do. We had to get the rocks and the soil samples and all this other crap. And it was just fantastic to be up there. No. Totally opposite. Oh, it was all right. It was good. It was pretty cool. You know, they just weren't like all excited about it. So that's what they were doing up there, Master Cat. And she said there was a disco in Antarctica in ancient times. Interesting. Never can tell. Oh, yeah, H. Charles. Yeah, you said that interview is in my personal collection long before the pre-Google, YouTube. Oh, yeah, most definitely. And like I said, these guys were like, and you could just see the way they just had their heads down and just like answering questions. Like, you could just see that, like, do we need to be here? And you could just see the attitude on them. Why would they do that? The guys took the biggest step since mankind, for mankind. And like I said, they were all happy going, getting on the capsule, getting on the rocket. They were like, yeah, waving at everybody, having a great time. And according to the recordings, they were having a great time talking to, basically, back to Earth and everything else, having a great time, and come back and totally opposite. What happened? Shouldn't have been like that. Unless something blew them away, something literally had them stumped, like trying to wrap their heads around, right? They were just, like you said, Ultravirus, you said they were traumatized, pretty much. Chad Douglas, I don't know if you're talking about them, the Apollo mission, you said, or probably tired. Well, probably not, because keep in mind they were actually put into a chamber to like a decompression slash, not so much a decompression, but it's the word I'm looking for, guys. It's basically like almost a sterilization too. Basically, they had to sit there for like 2 days, I think it was. So they were in this like makeshift capsule. It was basically, it looked like a Silverstream or, one of those RV type things. It was made shift for that. They had to be in there for a couple of days. So they got more than enough sleep. So I don't think that was the case, if that's what you were talking about. But either way, you could just see they did not want to talk about the topic. I mean, they were saying, yeah, it was great. We went up there, they were talking and having a great time to a certain degree. And I don't mean laughing and joking it up, but they were kind of like, they were answering the questions because they were there. And if you had pulled them aside and say, so what do you think about, I got time for that. They probably wouldn't even change. Probably wouldn't even tell you. Dennis Johnson said they went to the moon and came back. Maybe they just not that amused. Well, again, I mean, going onto the rocket, they were fine. All professional. Yeah, this is great. Get up there. Like I said, if you've seen the videos where they're literally singing, running along with each other, going to this giant rock, looking at samples, doing this, and, riding around in the moon buggy, whee, and they're making noise, having a great old time, and throwing rooster tails everywhere because there's, just things ripping out and everything else. But they're totally different when they come back. Totally, totally different people. Simply doesn't make sense. Unless, again, they seen something that just blew them away. Again, they were just traumatized and didn't, know what to make of it. And they just the last thing on their mind was to do a press conference. That's all. Decontamination. Thank you. That's the word I was looking at. I went blonde there for a minute. So thanks, guys, for telling me. Odds aggressive. Don't forget the thumbs up. The thumbs up, people. Yeah, slam that bad whamma jamma. This way YouTube will share it. And Trustee said, okay, I am wrecked. Had 3 hours sleep last night. Respect to all here. We'll miss you a lot, although some I meet on other sites, LOL. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be doing the same thing, guys. We're going to jump off of this as well because I got to get some things done here. I was going to jump off earlier, but I just like being here, so it doesn't matter to me. But we're going to jump off here as well. Again, it's always a big thanks, and I love having you guys here and good conversations. Again, I love the idea of people being skeptical, having different, points of view, different opinions. It's what it's all about, right? And that's what makes to me, I call it the round table. Everybody's sitting around talking amongst themselves and with us and throwing comments, getting questions and answers and all this other good stuff. And that's what it's all about. Like I said, when I do these videos, I just say, listen, I found something that's anomalous, which means it stands out from its surroundings. And then what I'll do is I'll say, this is what it looks like to me, meaning looks like. It's not, I'm not saying with definition, like it is it. And then I just ask you guys, what you think it is. So, yeah. So that's the way we roll on this channel. It's like, we just find something, we analyze it, and I always tell you guys, ultimately, you guys get the last say. You tell me what you think these things may be. And like I said, I just did a video on this particular photo, and you can see, and there's going to be a second part to this because in the background is some more crazy things, and it has to do with that little dune you see right in front, or I should say behind this rover, because we can see the UHF antenna and the power supply in the back, nuclear power plant. So it is the back of the rover. So when you see these things that are in here, sometimes it's only the shapes. And I said that before. Lines, bring the lines out that they're trying to cover up. And sometimes you can find some crazy things. What looks like a flat ground suddenly has a 3D look to it. Something standing up off the surface. Sometimes it's just lines. And sometimes that's all you need to pull out of it because you're going, okay, why are they here? You should not see this. This is a ground. It's on Mars. It's a dead planet. So why are we seeing such shapes and why are these here? It's as simple as that, right? Or better yet, Terry Kelling, you asked the question, why doesn't, where did it go? Why doesn't NASA use the robotic arm on the rover and grab the helicopter and shake the dust off it? Or how about if they just had like an airline that was at the end of this thing? You can easily put an electric air pump on and have a little, like a sprayer or like a little valve or a little air valve, just spray air onto it and blow it off. I'm sure they could do that if they really wanted to, right? Bobby Pentland, haven't even seen you come in there. How'd you get in there? Must have been when these things jump. I hate when I miss people. I hate that big time. But I do appreciate your support as always, sir. Thank you very much. And like I said, if you've been in here, my apologies for not noticing you. Because like I said, these things will jump on me, and I try to get everybody when I first get in there. So I hate to miss anybody. And if you had any questions or anything like that, I hate that. But always appreciate the support, all the support you guys give. It's awesome. All right, let's see. All right. Yeah, we'll definitely be tearing apart some more photos, guys. Got some more good ones coming up. Like I said, we're going to do the second part of that one I just showed you. Some interesting shapes and stuff that it shouldn't be in a photo. Let's just put it that way. And we're going to try to see if we can find anything else in there as well, because something tells me every time, again, I see these things, guys, when I get into the raw photo, let me do this. I see these things in a raw photo. In other words, I go through the raw plates of these photos. This is how I find the actual manipulation. But my mind and my eyes trained to this already. I already see these things, before I even have to do that now. And a couple of you guys have said the same thing to me. You said, Chris, my eyes already been trained to it now. I've been watching it so long that you point out these things that I already know this. So it's cool that, you guys are on board with this as well. And a lot of you guys are tearing apart these photos as well, too. So that's awesome. But, again, you shouldn't see anything in these photos. And these photos should be crystal clear. Crystal clear. You should not see fudging going on. You shouldn't see any kind of censoring. You shouldn't see any of that. It should be like, even if you took your own little iPhone and you took photos, it'd be much clearer than those are. Does that make sense to you? Shouldn't. And you can't say, well, it's being transmitted from Mars. No. It's a whole different ballgame. We've been into this conversation before. Trust me, they get the technology to probably send it here within minutes. And I'm talking about good-sized files. And I also believe if they got like a quantum communication, they probably have live feed too. And if they don't have it all completely live, like you would watch on your own camera for your security camera, you can almost bet they can take probably 10 to 20 seconds of video, send it, and then start over again and keep doing it. You can almost bet on that. So you should be seeing much better photos on there. So you're going to see the second part of this is pretty cool. And, it won't be a very long one because there's a few things I want to share with you on that one. And then I've been looking at a couple of moon ones and some more Perseverance and some more Curiosity as well. So stay tuned for that, guys. Anyway, have yourselves a good one. If you guys haven't seen the latest video, check it out. It's pretty cool. You'll like it. And by the way, you guys can go on my YouTube channel now. If you look on the banner, if you want to support the channel, I've got a PayPal little click on. You just click on it and you can just go right to the PayPal. If you want to support the channel that way, always appreciate it. It helps the channel. And like I said, I get a lot of your support anyway, just verbally support as far as I'm concerned. So, much love to you all for that. Any support's always good support. Anyway, guys, thanks for all you guys being here. Much love to everybody. Another great hangout, as always. I appreciate you all being here. Like I said it a million times. If it wasn't for you, this channel would not be here. So you guys are basically the channel. So I appreciate it. And I love sharing the time with you guys and getting together. And if anybody's here from new from Jean-Claude's, I appreciate you being here. I'm glad you jumped on board as well. If you haven't checked that video out that I was live with him, check it out. It's pretty cool. We covered a lot of things that we normally cover on this channel, but a lot of people did not see it on that channel, his subs, so it was cool. Worked out very well. And a lot of them some of them had jumped on board here, so I appreciate you jumping on over as well and subbing to the channel. Just awesome. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to rock and roll, get some more things done before we get ready for bed and start it all over again tomorrow. So everybody have a good one. Be safe. Be kind to each other. And we'll see you soon, guys. Peace. I'll leave this thing on. It's 8:08. Well, we'll leave it on until 8:15 my time. So another what? 10, 5, 7. Well, you got about 7 more minutes. We'll leave it on. You guys can chat it up a little bit before you take off. And before you leave, if you don't mind, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, go ahead and do so. Always appreciated. Much love to you guys. Peace.